Right. Oh fuck. Hello Jinx. Hello Sarah. Hello JXmas. JXmas. Blavukovand. Right. Icebox Sunset Lotus. We got some hours. I wanted to get something to eat after one of these maps though. Not the most exciting of maps, but it is what it is. Maybe this map pool isn't exciting. Yeah, so SEN and the veto did they did a bit of a curveball, right? They picked Sunset after after banning it the day before. The question is, why did they ban it? Was it all a ruse to try and throw off the veto for the next day because they thought like did they think Wolves were so shit and unable to beat them that they're just like, we could just throw the veto and then just win the next day? Or is this team... Yeah, it's not a throw the veto. It's smart. Okay, so what they've done is they couldn't be sure that Wolves were a good Sunset team or not. And so they banned it because they just thought they'd win every other map, I guess. And then they got to see Billy play Sunset and barely beat a team without that IGL and with a player playing ISO. So I think SEN were just being cautious against Wolves banning it rather than them purposely like inting or something. Hey Sarsis. Hey Ionis. I think no one respects Wolves. Yeah, pretty much. I don't think this would... I think it cloaks it a little bit, but you don't ban a map then pick a map without it, you know. Hello, Fiorina lover. Right, let's go with Icebox. So I'm skeptical of the Omen on Icebox. I'm not a biggest believer, and I hate KO. I'm not a KO believer. This should just be Sova. Yeah. So in this spot, I would go Jet, Sova, and then this is either Gecko or Sage. So yeah. Like at least they've got four out of 5 at least. I mean, the Jet is still like a question mark if your Jet player is not like the best Jet player in the world, but you know, these are two teams that have fairly decent Jet players. Like Zekun is pretty good. Can you articulate why you think KO is bad? Okay. So the reason why I think KO is bad in this composition is because Aspas exists. I think there's other ways for me to explain this, but the simplest one is Aspas exists. And when Aspas exists, Aspas plays 2 positions on the map. He plays these well, sometimes this one too. And my question is, how do we stop Aspas existing on the map without playing Sova? So like in this like you could also argue it this way around too, like right, that they technically this could be it could be Sova KO, but no one really does that. and then I'd have to argue against Gecko. But like, let's pretend that we're just arguing for this case. We're arguing for a case for Sova over KO in this situation. What the Sova does is, if you're being greedy, you can throw a recon, and then immediately no, and then obviously, like, that could be a knife too. So like the knife and the recon are comparable in terms of information, right? The recon's slightly better, I'd argue, because it can ping the jet, and it will show you where she is, and then you can actually pre-fire her or react accordingly. The knife doesn't. All the knife does is tell you that there is someone playing there, and then you don't know after that. So how do you scale up after knife information? So the recon, you got the out with the recon that we might ping her, and then we can pre-fire her or like react accordingly. Maybe we drone after, or maybe we like scale differently. With the knife, if it hits, like it's more likely to, well, it's not more likely to, if it hits, you know someone's there, but they could just be here, and it'll swing you on a timing. How do you scale up here with this comp? You can't. With this comp. How do you scale up this area with this comp? And then the next thing is to then be like, Mini, can't they just break this recon? You know, what jet player plays up here and gets pinged by the recon? And I'm like, yeah, no, I agree with you. I think you're fucking awful at the game if you're not breaking this recon. The Viper should be here breaking the recon. I agree. Counterpoint, why do they not just break this knife? Or whatever knife is ended up using on B to get this jet out? Like, so to me, the knife just doesn't really do much to stop Aspas existing. Whereas Sova has a drone that you can use to shoot him and know exactly where he is and then kill him. You know, very, very, very good jet players like Aspas will then start playing more sneaky and like trying to time your drone and try and get out and stuff. But that's why you have like the Viper rule on B long. That's why you have the drone coming out. That's why you're very careful when you're scaling. But these fundamental positions that are just like the first position lines don't get countered by Gecko KO. The knife that lands in front of yellow is harder to break than the recon. It's not. It's not. What you do is you need anti-knife protocols. So if they're landing the knife in front of the yellow, then you just turn around and break it. If they land it on top of yellow and your Viper is here, then sure, I'll let you have it. That like the knife lands here, and then the jet will have to kill it with the shorty probably, or the classic. And so like usually you would sit you want to sit your Viper top site to deal with knives coming in. So like maybe there's a world in which like the knife could land here and not technically be spotted by the Viper or something. I just don't think it's reasonable. I don't think knifing here even gets the jet technically. I think it's like a Valo plant mistake. So yeah, that's my argument. And then even if the knife did get, I got a drone. My drone beats your knife, basically. There's one that lands on the front face of yellow. Here. What do you mean? Here everything gets broken. On top, it gets broken easily by top, so... How do you attack B site on Icebox without a Sage or a Gecko? If planting feels impossible. Harbor Cove is the closest thing that you've got, but it's still not amazing. The real answer is you can't, but teams try to do it, and teams aren't very good at realizing that comps without the Gecko and Sage are very bad at going B, and do not adjust their setups accordingly. Like, if you watch Boaster play, you'll probably see Boaster play a little bit differently if he knows as the Viper player that the attack cannot plant easily on B. Whereas if he knows they can plant easily on B, he's probably going to play differently. It's not really a mistake. I know it's not a mistake, it's just that it's not represented visually correctly, and it's impossible to do that in 2D. I'm not saying it's a mistake, I'm just saying that, like, it's not correct, like, technically, because it's not, this is 2D, not 3D. Yeah. Anyway, and then defense, like, I haven't even thought about defense. The knife is quite valuable on defense to, it's quite a good tool on defense to knife. Like, I quite like people trying to knife, and especially to deny the drones. I don't love this knife so much. I don't really care for it that much. It's okay. Knifing to deny drones is pretty good. And then playing backside with flashes is not the worst idea. And then some of the pop flash setups are kind of cute, but I beyond that, like, I don't see the value in, like, Sova, man. Like, Sova on this map is so good. Like, retaking with the Sova drone is like, so this map is like a retake heavy map, right? The KO puts you in a position where, like, its best play is to not play for retake, which is kind of counterintuitive to the macro. Whereas Sova can play intuitive to the macro. You delay with shocks. You can maybe go for cheeky recon kills if you want to, but it's not that big a deal. And you just got the drone coming in for the retakes. And, you know, recon for information mid-round. Drone as well can be used to push out of space. Like, it's good at reclearing middle, pushing at middle. It's good at pushing at A. Teams don't really do this very much anymore, but it's still good. It's not bad at doing this. Our favorite use case was just a drone for retakes, though, to be honest with you. Thoughts on Gecko solo initiative if I can't do Sova? Again, you just run into the Aspas problem. If you got Harbor, the Cascades make it easier to avoid Aspas, but Aspas was still Aspas. What makes this map retake heavy? Okay, I don't want to go into a full breakdown of this map, but the map is retake heavy because the only playable space on B is behind yellow. And I don't know if you realize this yet, but playing behind yellow is not the most consistent strategy in the world. It is not a great position to play. It is okay and is a good mix-up, but yellow is overrated as a position. So I think it's attack-sided to attack yellow and kill the yellow player. So then you're forced to play back here. And so you're in a retake situation most of the time. And then teams that cannot plant on B, i.e. non-Gecko Sage teams, you can just delay this plant forever for the rotations. And then you're in a good retake, and maybe you got a little flank if you're good at the game. A side the map. Can you tell me, is there a team in the world that has been able to hold this site consistently over the past 5 years this map's existed? Like, people still, like, a legitimate strategy on this map is still to go 5A at the start of the round because this site is so hard to hold. There's no real good playable space. You end up relying on, like, weird crossfires and just winning duels and having your jet go crazy. So a more consistent strategy a lot of the time is to, like, go for a pick and then fall back and go into your retake situations a lot quicker than other maps, basically. Does Sage improving anchoring towards A a lot? It improves it a little bit, but the risk reward of just saving the wall to actually retake with, it's usually just better to save the wall. What's the case for server and defense side? Again, the case for server is, you know, like, good information early. You know, it's not the best, but it's, like, it's alright. And then in you know, shocks to delay plants, but it's mostly just about the drone, in my opinion. Droning, you could drone out of space quite nicely, but to me, the drone on the retakes is nasty. Recon information is also good. Like the fact that the recon gives you actual information a lot of the time is really strong. Like in the instances where it pings, you know. Even we saw, did we see Paper X do? I think we saw Paper X do one here, which was quite nice too. Which actually gets you quite good information, to be honest with you. It's not the best, not the worst. Is there validity in being aggro A to force util from the other team? Yeah, you should try to force. You should try to be playing quite aggressive, and then you fall back. Like a lot of the time, if you're playing Jet specifically, like obviously you want to be trying to play quite aggressive and fall back. At times you do want to just start passive too. You want to, but you don't want them to just. If you're putting no threat on these spaces to scale out from, then the attack's not going to use any util. And if they're not using any util, then they just fuck you. So yeah. Is it possible to make Cypher viable on this map? Viable, yes. Good, no. Like the biggest thing is like using the trip under the tube, I think. But then if you're smart, teams just literally stand here and wait for you to try and trip the tube and kill it. You saw Angel doing that quite a lot. I think Cypher is not good, no. I would prefer the delay of Killjoy nanos than trips, and the more consistent information from having just the turret here is just better, I think. Okay, I'm gonna stop asking questions about this map. I'm gonna watch VOD review.
Hit hard. Sometimes a volatile team, but when they hit hard. Pissed around.
Okay, the knife being used, so like one of the nice things about the knife is it makes you got two decisions here as the attack. You either tank the knife and they get information on you, or you wait outside this zone. And a lot of teams will wait outside the zone, so it means that the Omen or Jet player can get aggressive into the space, right? It sets them up nicely. But if BLG are smart, they should know this is possible. The second gets one. So like that play is like, there's thought behind it from SEN. But I think the best teams should be very well aware of that play. I don't think
presence here at A, and they're not convinced that that's where Billy are ending yet.
It also master TP sound. Yeah.
Drift back in the B direction, which is
that's
a little
true.
more tightly held, but just now, these rotates are coming through to the A side, which is a little.
So the nano's on B. This nano's interesting. Stano nano here. This nano implies to me that they really do want to control yellow at certain points in the round. So we'll see how that goes later on.
These rotates are coming through to the A side.
One from Sentinels backside would have gone for a peek. Maybe they manage that this long.
They're gonna crunch him.
Well, they certainly do now. Yeah.
Have gone paved the way just now. Drift back in the.
Sorry, I'm really trying to see you. Okay, mistake from Sentinels here. This is something I see a lot of teams do. If you're gonna play 2B long, like this, why do these players always just immediately rotate this way? Why don't they ever get aggressive? Even if it is just to like kill this turret and then run away, I think is fine. But like, look what happens here. There's two things that happens. The first thing is that they lose the line on belong for no reason. They stop holding this belong line for literally no reason. And so now the lurker is able to get into space. The second thing is that if they pushed out here, they would deal with this lurker. But then they'd also be able to threaten a flank on A. But they've left the belong line, letting the lurker come up, and they weren't in a position to do anything against this A. So they've like lost on both fronts. At the very minimum, narrate here. I think right now in this position, as soon as second gets contact, these two players should be pushing, in my opinion. At very worst, he rotates and leaves Bang. And Bang should stay here. And at least, like, get info on this player that comes back.
Direct play at A, and Delsis has pushed up, ready to watch a drift back in the...
Do you think they almost panic left B? This is interesting, because, like, I'm really trying to break this down as simply as I can, but I'm probably not explaining it well enough still. Like, they panic. Do you think they almost panic left B because they had no A info?
Really are going to have to be aware of playing on attack. It's so easy for the Omen to get
Yes,
some of these.
but that doesn't negate what I'm saying. Like, they know the attack is A right now.
But why is he still standing?
So they're just rotating because they think it's an A, and they're not thinking properly.
It's so easy for the Omen to get some of these forward positions. Play from Bell.
I don't know what they're doing right now. Like, I don't know why. I don't know why. Like, right now, this would be perfect. Imagine this play did happen, and we had this at the same time. You'd be able to have 3 players, almost like you'd have people checking this angle. Zelsis can trade off of them. Like, this play would make even more sense with these 2 pushing, I feel like. And then he'd go back and contain with the KO.
Sentinels
And then however they want to retake, it's up to them. Like, if they don't want to use the flanks, whatever. But at least clear out this Viper.
Pushed up, ready to watch a drift coming through to the A side. Really be looking to pave the way.
I mean, yeah. Again, minimum here for me is just to leave the player here to get info, or here to get info. That's like the bare minimum in this round that I think that should have happened. Hey, Hazza.
Nav spots out Zelsis. Everyone from B rotating.
It's easy to say. Like, obviously, if they pushed out here, they can die, and they could be running into like 2 people. But like, it's all about like risk reward, right? Or like, if it's something that they do a lot or common, then you'll see teams then react to that and know that, like, oh, this team likes to do that. Let's like not let that happen to us. After all that whiffing, he just hits these 2 shots though.
His composition as well. Probably bears a little bit of discussion from Sentinels, right? It lacks duelist. We've seen Zekin on the Omen on this map before.
To me, it's interesting that, like, obviously lacking a duelist is like probably the easiest thing to go to here. But to me, it's not as big a deal. Hey, Vance.
Some moments, but there's no real scan initiator on this Sentinels roster. The KO, of course, can zero.
One of them
At least they'll turn up for their first game here. That won't be an issue going forward, but this would be a real result. And that is a very
I do like the thought process. Like, Sen always have like decently well thought out ecos, and I know this looks like not that well thought out because it's just like, oh look, there's 4 people A, but like knifing B and just having a stack A is a pretty, you know, it's just a solid eco idea. Like, he hits 4 people, and the 4 people are probably gonna now rotate to A. Okay, never mind. It's not well thought out. They're rotating. Yeah. Okay. It's well thought out. Okay.
Upgrade rifle.
I was gonna say, like, to knife and hit 4. Like, obviously they started rotating because they, like, if John said yes, they're continuing, they were ready to keep rotating, but because John was like, they're not running at me, they probably just stayed. So this is well thought out. Like, I know it doesn't look like the most technical thing in the world, but it's surprising how few teams actually put even just a little bit of thought into their eco sometimes. And I think Sen is one of those teams that does. Like, I remember last year at times thinking they put more thoughts into their eco rounds than some of their actual defaults sometimes. Their defaults were still good, but like some of their eco rounds were like ludicrous. So I was like, Jesus Christ, like they've really like drilled this one through. Like, obviously the priority shouldn't be the eco rounds, but it's nice to see a team actually care about them. We were watching your Bruce Buffer yesterday, Vance. I'm a big Bruce Buffer fan. Were you here for that? I don't think you were. I think Kim was linking the the GIF there.
Takes a bit of damage, drops on down. The rest of Sentinels are considering throwing themselves at the situation. Knight from Yellow spray through that Viper wall. His double controller can be very oppressive to play against, and YZ finds a time to get back in. Knight cleans off Narrate, trying to control from Crow's Nest. As Zekin and John. Yeah, not long for this one. Great little shock dart that catches the KO out, and Zekin has not got much to do.
Ask for anything.
To stack, Inkling they opt not to commit there. And they make the right call in the end. Rifles in hands now. Still a Marshal for Neff, Guardian for Rusia. Maybe this is the Bulldog. YZ takes a big hit early. My goodness, the Marshal for Neff, Guardian for.
So essentially, this round, SEN are playing essentially a Jet B setup, right? Because the Omen is Jet, basically. Celsius, what is he? A question about the alarm bot. What's he doing with the alarm bot? Does he just put it here from this position? It's a bit weird. Any team that has a lurker middle will just immediately see the alarm bot if he does that. Viper A is odd. Viper A is odd. Is he using? Where's he using his orb? Give me the replay system, man. Where's this orb?
Spidey senses tingling. They opt not to commit there.
Oh, he's doing a shit orb, isn't he?
Rifles in hands now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Center cooked. I think he's doing an orb on the pipes, I want to say. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty shit. It's a pretty shit. I don't think it's very good. I don't think this orb is very good because I would prefer the orb to be used on B most of the time. If you have a very solid anti-strat or read, the opponent is definitely going to just int into you and just like run through the orb or something, then fine. But I don't think the orb gets sustained value. In terms of as soon as the attack scales past it, there's nothing to say anymore. Whereas on B, it's like these orbs, this orb gets value early and it gets value in the retake. This orb gets value early and it gets value in the retake. And this orb is just like nasty at dealing with the plant situation. This orb is just nasty to play around. This orb is like, we'll see. Like my hypothesis is that I don't like it, and like my feeling is I don't like it, sorry. And it only has one use case, which is to fight for this space. It doesn't have a secondary use case. I don't think it's that useful in the retake. One way or anti-orb on B, how do you decide? The decision between this orb and this orb sometimes is just okay. The ways that I've always thought about it was if the team is just scaling past this immediately and the orb is technically not really doing much to stop them from getting past it and just planting, and we're finding ourselves in retakes very quickly, then I would prefer to use this orb. Obviously this helps with the retake. But, you know, I would prefer to not be in a retake and delay as long as possible. The other thing about this orb is if a team plays very slowly, then you can use this orb to do cheeky things where you like refight the space a little bit, which is quite useful. But yeah, other than that, you can also get a read on, can the other team plant the spike is basically a big one. Do they have a Sage or a Gecko? And how good are they planting the spike versus this orb? If you're able to just simply deny them the plant for like an unlimited amount of time or a very long amount of time, then it might just be worth to do to this one. If the other team has good protocols against it though, or a good comp against it, then you might want to change it. But yeah, so those are like some of the factors going into it. I don't think there's like a correct answer or a fake or like a bad answer there. I think it is a bit of stylistic preference for your own team and preference against the other team. For a single initiate comp, hybrid comps, the B main one way is better. I would almost argue the opposite way round because on your retake you're going to be able to wall to retake, so you don't need the orb on the one way. and you're going to be able to do walls like this in mid-range to re-clear if you want to get weird with it. So I would almost argue the opposite around, where the orb here might be better with the harbor, maybe. The other way of looking at it is that teams might prefer this orb with harbor because they're obsessed with sitting here. Like let's say Viper's sitting here, and then they cycle the smoke a bit. But I'll be honest with you, I said this earlier, I don't think holding this space is that valuable. It's a bit overrated. And I think cycling smokes to hold yellow, I think, is a bit of a catfish idea. Hey, go on. But yeah. Why is it a catfish idea? I guess is the next question. And I guess I need to keep extending my thoughts. This Viper wall stops anyone from yellow getting proper support. And so your support is someone standing here. And I think that the util you can use on yellow and having 4 people execute is probably going to just beat you most of the time, to be honest. I don't think it's that scary. Like even just a jet dash, even in the worst comps possible to deal with yellow, like the comps that I used to play, like the Sage jet comps, I think still deal with this player quite easily. You can see it lock in. We had pretty good protocols around it. I think in the OT, we dealt with it quite well. I'm quite proud of that one because I think it was like a last second adjustment for that game where like I suggested that protocol where we like actually used the dash for yellow more. So it's quite nice to see like something that I suggested actually having some impact.
Additional players, though, taking a significant amount of damage.
That sounded like I never had ideas that had any impact. I mean, like having such like a direct idea so close to a game, having the impact, I guess.
Of course, he has his own
in such an important moment.
One way that we see.
Be ready for 11 rounds of second top yellow.
Get into these telepicking offers and wing.
Okay, sorry, I didn't even catch this part. So it just became a spam war.
My goodness, the audacity to stand and fight that. Ends up being a trade.
Yeah, they just used the one-way pipes. I'm not a fan, to be honest with you. I'm not the biggest fan.
Kano wanted to go for more swing off of that, but didn't actually have a second.
I think this makes sense for Sen's theory overall. Is that I think I remember Bang when he did used to play B. He was playing yellow a lot and just holding yellow a lot. And now we see that even when he's not the yellow player, if what Comet says true, is Zekan's now the yellow player. And they consider yellow like an actual position on the map that needs to be held, which I don't agree with.
That offers an opportunity for Sen to even things up. Not without 2 of their additional players, though, Zelsus and Bang taking a significant amount of damage. Again, Zekan is just going to take advantage of these teleports on any decent opportunity.
With double smokes, would it make sense to sub out the Gecko for a Sage? I think it would. If I'm playing Harbor, I would prefer to play Gecko than Sage. I think the Harbor is replacing the Sage in that moment, I would say. Yeah, the way that my gut thinks about it is Harbor's more of a Sage replacement than an Initiator replacement. So
He can find on
with double smokes, would it make sense to sub it? With Omen? Omen's a weird one because it's almost like a jet replacement at the moment. It's like
of course, he has his own
a weird jet replacement in my head. And again, I think it represents the Sage rather than the Initiator. But yeah. You are the biggest Omen Icebox believer. Do you believe in Jet Omen or the Omen as the Jet? I believe more in this, to be honest with you. I'm a bigger fan of this. Okay, so you are too. Okay, I'm not in love with it, but I don't hate it. I don't think I hate it. I think if you have a good Jet player, you should just play Jet. Like, over Omen. It's basically my line of thinking. I think it's slightly overrated, this whole approach.
30 seconds left.
Fast on that B site for this late pivot over towards
Omen Sova Fade Viper Killjoy is nice. Fade?
John stacked up. They want to anchor.
Bro, I don't... Fade?
Bangno's got a good little look.
I don't know what you've been cooking, but
The jump,
I don't see the fade.
Bangno's got a good little look. One way, Russia, how?
the jump peak.
2 headshots.
Over towards A, where you do have
Ideas like that require me to look at your actual Valo plants. This is why I don't last on teams for longer than 4 months.
These are entrenched positions.
I mean, if you had like a Valo plant where you like showed me, then maybe in some way you could convince me. But I think without like a lot of being a good coach is knowing how to present your ideas and knowing the popularity of them. So like if you know an idea is not going to be popular, you have to spend a lot more time understanding the rhetoric you're going to use around it and how to present it. Whereas like obviously if I'm telling Durka like, yo Durka, you're playing Jet, bud, I don't have to think twice. Like Durka's down, you know what I mean? Like I don't have to think twice about telling Durka he's playing Jet. If I've got to try and tell Durka that he's not playing like Jet and he's playing, I don't know, like Gecko or something, I have to think a lot. Whereas like comments like, yeah, we're gonna play Fade, and I'm just like, are we? Are we?
Pivotal role on this harbor. Cracks that A site open.
That play should not be happening.
Oh, it's with the Sova. Okay, it's with it's with the okay. I can see the vision slightly here. So it's a Gecko replacement essentially. Whew. I mean, I might like it more. I'll be honest with you. I think I like it more than KO. No, I don't know if that's true. I think I might be memeing. Yeah, I can see it. I think double recon.
We're gonna need to see the replay of that
Double
one.
recon is interesting to me.
So he's just 2 orbs away now from the
I'm not actually hating it, but I think it's more because I hate most of the Icebox comps as it is. That like you're able to.
Did not come into that game yesterday.
Yeah.
Looking warmed up, stepped up, wins a clutch, inspires the rest of his teammates with some confidence. That is unreal. Little micro snap.
The Prowler is like the next layer after. A Prowler is the next layer after is maybe better than KO on attack, to be honest with you. Like if you're able to like get up to here and then Prowler here, and then your site exec has C's reveal and like Prowler's coming in and shit, you might be able to get a spike down. On this side of the map, like getting the Prowler, like just to clear some of these spaces, you got a reveal backside. Like I think I like it more than the KO on attack.
Because they just carried over such weak weapons.
On defense, I think I prefer the KO though. I don't think the Fade on defense is going to be very good.
Look at the amount of rifles they recovered. Look at their economy already. 4 players at 5K or so.
Yeah, I think I would prefer the Fade on attack though, unironically. Over KO. Over Gecko. Gecko beats them both though, I think. I think Gecko wins on both the attack and defense.
He only holds down W. He will always go for more. Even if there's not util to support him, he'll just play off whatever he's got. He's gonna always take the
mid gap quite nice. Yeah, I mean you could deal with mid, I guess.
To deploy any of that Gecko util
Yeah.
early. John's about to swing this from lower rafter. Does he have a timing on Knight? Gives himself up.
So I didn't even see what happened this round, I'll be honest with you.
Because they just carried over such weak weapons into that
Yeah, Zekon's on B again. And now we're playing Viper A. So basically Sen's macro is we're not gonna play a Jet to fight A. But we're gonna play Viper to fight A.
There's going to be a lot of work for Sen to try and keep a lid on this and to get us in the
And just pray that Bang kills people with no rate.
7-1 for him.
This to me looks like this is how I read it. Sen haven't been doing well in scrims. And then have adjusted their macro recently to be like, okay, maybe just fighting with this orb is like the best idea for us. It's either that they're kind of like in like a desperate spot to find macro that's working for them, or I'm being mean and this is actually a game plan versus BLG. But it seems like a very odd game plan. So my intuition is that Sen have been exposed on Icebox. I think Sen are being exposed right now.
He only holds down W. He will always go for more. Even if there's not a util to support him, he'll just play off whatever he's got.
This was the macro during stage 1 as well. Oh, was it? Oh god. Okay.
Always take the
So to
fight.
me, it looks like Sen just
And that right now
don't
is looking
really
at the
love
hard way.
Icebox.
No chance to deploy any of that Gecko util falling early. John's about to swing this from lower rafter. Does he have a timing on Knight? Gives himself up.
And have to fight.
Sit on this and again.
Even here, like what again, exact same thing as before. Zakin just running away from B. There's no...
7-1 for only holds down.
And then he ends up just holding this spot anyway. I mean, it's a 3v4, so I can't be too critical. But this is one problem. This is like, even within their own setup, I'm noticing like a weird trend where they just like start leaving and then they have to hold here.
And that right now is learning that early. John's about to swing this from lower rafter. Does he have a timing on Knight?
Oh, he doesn't just immediately right-click flash. Oh, I guess he's got... Okay.
And in the meantime,
So that's just holding it alive.
He
So
has worked his way up tube again. This turret has been watching this position. So if he goes a bit further, he's going to have to break that. The rest of Billy making a late round pivot towards B. This has been the name of the game for them so far. Send that one lurker, typically Neff, get some space. He succeeded that. Pressure the other side of the map with the pack and a pivot back. Second try to put that one way back up there. Back. Second try to put that one way back up there.
oh, look, at one way.
Billy a little bit too fast for him. Caught out of green here by this Nano Swarm, and Levius is affected by the paranoia. So Zekin decides to tuck in Snowman. Sen want to take a pitched engagement here after the plant.
It is annoying that like you cannot spam the planter anymore. Like this is one of the only things that is annoying about delaying B nowadays. Viper has one spit and it's very difficult to actually stop the planter from this position more.
That additional high tide to actually obscure the view from these angles. And Second takes full advantage
But then you can just kill them after.
of that. Just not enough power to keep that Viper wall up, so K9 can actually get...
For what it's worth, BLG's Icebox really nice. They lift a lot from 11. It works really well. MIBR even.
That 0 point was pretty helpful.
They did veto Ascent, which is probably even worse than Icebox. Ascent have never been an amazing Ascent team. And they've always been okay at Icebox, but they've always played like comps that I didn't love, so I never really considered them like a world-class Icebox team. So you're probably right. I think Ascent and Icebox are a bit of lower. What do you think Sen's top 3 maps are? I would imagine Sunset is comfortable. Split should be, but I don't think their comp is as... I would be more confident in the Split if they actually ran their old comp.
Undoing. That was nice from Zekin. Obviously, this BLG
The double, like the Viper Sentinel comp they ran in 2024.
Aggression with that cascade covering up some of the potential dangerous angles. Just that standard harbor util.
Haven split pro. Their pro is not bad, is it? Haven, is Haven good for them? I've never really considered them like... I always thought Kaplan was quite good at Haven, but then I didn't think Sen was like historically like, the best Haven team. I mean, they won 13-4, 13-5, 13-4. But I'll be honest with you, like these like EG might be one of the worst Haven teams I've ever seen. And then Loud and 2G have been struggling, right? So this is it's very good. But like, yeah, EG were not good at Haven. They were playing Waylay, and I don't think they knew what they were doing really with the Waylay. I mean, this is still pretty impressive considering like the other maps were close. So maybe they're not bad at Haven.
The defenders from the ease of getting that orb.
But even if they lose this round, BLG...
Potter has maps that she's very good at, but I don't think Haven's not one of them, I don't think. Like even EG weren't amazing at Haven in their 2023 form. It was like one of their banned maps, right? A lot of the time. So yeah. I just think it's not like the best map for them historically. It's okay to say that though. Like she can tell me my Ascent was ass. You know what I mean? It's not that big a deal.
It's been the same spot he's played from though, and Sen had a high-low setup with Bang there, just pushing around pipe. BLG there maybe that up room.
Sorry. So again, just fighting A. I think against this, Okay, no, not gonna say. Not gonna say. Still have a team that I want to win this tournament.
Deny the defenders
Yeah.
the ease of getting that orb.
It shouldn't be too difficult to play against what Sen's doing right now.
Have that economy from such a sick start to keep the pressure on. Here's now drone the right in a pretty aggressive position and bang is there to follow up.
I mean, that is the most wisey.
Is ISO Euro and Haven a good counter to Genji combo? I would love to. You've titillated me, but I'm in the middle of an Icebox VOD review and I can't be titillated right now. So you save that question for later, or ask me on Discord. I have like an Ask Me Anything channel on Discord, and I got a fuck ton of questions to go through at some point.
That does break that alarm button. You can see it has drawn some attention from the defenders of SEN, both initiators pivoting towards that boiler position.
So, like, just to make it clear, like, my rules right now are, if you're gonna ask me questions, they have to be about Icebox or SEN and BLG. If they're not about those things, I most likely will ignore you. But you can ask me them later, or go to my Discord, and I have like an AMA channel, and you can put it in there, and I'll answer it in Discord at some point.
Position, and now the util is coming through from Billy to get into this site when Russia gets the spike
nice
down
harbor
here, if
wall.
he can get it down and shoot G. And that does break that alarm button. You can see it has drawn some attention from the defenders.
Why?
Pushing around pipe.
So they seem to A, and then SEN go to reclear. They have this like reclear mid protocol where they leave A to reclear mid, but they don't do anything with it. It's almost like they're just setting up for their retake. They clear mid, and then they're ready to retake. Well, they're not going to clear mids. They're just lost. Okay.
Head up to Crow's Nest. They'll be posted up on 410. Send all 5 guns.
I mean, they're clearing mid a bit fucking late, and it's not even a real reclear.
First is a bit of information. Thrash is going to go ahead, see what he can spot out. Rushia's on top of 410. And he'll be brought down by Bang. He's been very snappy in these rounds. Nightfall's by the wayside. Now it's Neff and Levius who have to play from a long distance. Neff, IGL, all on his own, and that is stunning. It's up to Zelsa St. John.
Oh.
The DQ still gets the job done. Ironclad nerd.
So I was thinking about what I'd say as a caster in this round.
Neff exits with 4.
I think I'd comment about liking Sen's composure to leave the site in the 5v4.
And they're staring down the barrel of multiple bit focused, perhaps too much so on getting kills. He's posted up top here. And Bang exploits the lack of anyone being able to trade for him. Just gets an isolated 1v1. And then there it's also easy for the rest of the SEN players to.
And then probably something about the Viper almost popping. Popping. Mr. Neff.
The Android again to dissuade. Narrates pretty forward positioning here off the rip.
Now they're just leaving B-Long completely with alarm bot. Do you agree with some that say SEN look pretty momentum reliant? Is there a single team in the world that's not momentum reliant though? I think every performance coach I speak to is like, yeah, we're such a momentum based team. And I'm just like, isn't that just every team? I guess, like, yeah. Anyway, can you explain your views on the social economic direction of the world in the last 10 years in SEN versus BLG Icebox terms? No, I can't, to be honest. I thought about it for 2 seconds. No, I can't.
Okay, Cascade throw it out here, but BLG are...
Am I on the Paper X train? Absolutely. I'm not on the train. I fucked up yesterday, man. I fucked up. We got too comfortable. I stopped shoveling coal. And you guys weren't helping at all. Like none of you were like helping. You were sat there just doing nothing. No helping in the coal room, and none of you sacrificing yourself. There was 0 energy coming from the chat. You were doing Vanish on Sliggy's stream? Okay, I mean there might have been some help on Sliggy's stream, but maybe I may need to talk to Sliggy because I feel like we all got a bit too comfortable.
Okay. Here's an command. Russia has to respect the fragment, stepping to the side of it now, still occupying this pit, but takes a big hit down to 3rd.
How the fuck did they get to this position? The late...
The Andre really pressure the spike.
So Sen just leave B completely.
Behind it. Moving to B early.
They don't have any information A. The Killjoys, they're gonna just exec B, get the plant for free.
Deltas here has to play safely as he can.
They leave the site against a Viper ult. And then they don't even clear out A properly. Bro, like, they don't clear this kill. Like, this is just really bad. I'm confused, honestly. I'm confused. I'm a little bit confused. I mean, it's just instant round loss. Maybe there was a reason why they're doing what they're doing, but it got absolutely boomed. Like, BLG was just... BLG went B and won. That shouldn't really be the case. And maybe Second got bored on B and was like, fuck it, can you just leave an alarm bot there? They're not coming B. But still, you can't just... I mean, this is unironically a round where the orb on B would have been very useful, you know? Why is there a fire alarm in the background? Dunno. Maybe there's a fire.
Horrific situation to get back in. And look, going into this, we're looking at a YZ that throughout stage 1 was able to be the highest ACS, highest kills per round player in China. And you're wondering, is that just because he's able to farm some of the lower tier teams, get away with things that he shouldn't be allowed to get away with as the competition scales throughout this tournament? Look, so far, he's had a couple misses, but he's hitting hard. 9 and 4 right now. Finding good first kills.
In that series against TL, often on the Neon looking to create that early space and be traded.
I'm sorry, I have my window open and I live on a busy street, so I can't really help. I can't really help noobs on the street, you know what I mean? These NPCs outside doing NPC things, I can't help it. If they're breaking into cars or setting fires, I can't really do anything.
0 point revealing all of BLG. They're on a slow roll in his A direction. Last time there was a stack here for SEN at A.
Any chance for Liquid to beat MIBR?
This time though.
I'm not answering questions unrelated to this VOD. No, there's zero chance Liquid can beat MIBR. Zero chance. It's never gonna happen. It could not possibly. How could it possibly happen? Float like a butterfly. I mean, anti-eco. Who cares about anti-ecos? I'd only watch it if it's PaperX, because that's... I think PaperX are the only team disadvantaged in anti-ecos in the world. John gets the spam off. Kinda lucky. Oh look, playing yellow looks really good. Hey, look at this! Look at this one way, guys. Look at this one way. Look how powerful one ways are, by the way. Oh look, we just ran through it. Okay, it's not even really a one way, is it? You're telling me this is a one way? Fuck off. Like, people are playing Omen for this smoke? Fuck off. I don't mind. I don't hate it compared to Jet. Like if it's between Jet and Omen, I'm not the biggest hater, but don't try and hold yellow every round. Is basically my response.
So he's gonna have to pick up the pace and get really deep towards that site.
Wow, up on top of 2, but he's made a bunch of noise and bang is ready for him. Never change, YZ. Found them. 2 players over here towards yellow. That's what BLG are working with in this post plan. John is
don't PaperX play Omen?
This flash.
Yeah, like who said I like to look? Like I've been quite clear that like obviously like I have my views on the game, right? I have my views on the game, and they don't make sense for PaperX as a team. PaperX are one of the few teams in the world that like probably shouldn't even think like I do. If that makes sense. There are things that make sense for them that don't for other teams. But like, if Alex was to ask me about the compositions they played, I would give them like an honest response from like my point of view, but then an honest response about it from like in the context of Paper X, if that makes sense. Like, there is a difference between the way that they play the game and the kind of compositions that make sense for that way. Whereas I know Sentinels are trying to play the game a lot more like in the ways that I would play the game, and so I think it's fair. I think most teams probably do, or try to at least.
Never change, Wisey. 2 players over here towards yellow.
Do you still want Forsaken to probably IGL? I mean, we talked about this with Victoria yesterday. I never said. I think my words were taking a little bit out of context.
Swings out in the Marley.
Yeah, I don't want to speak more about it because like I just get clip farmed for stuff like that, and I felt bad because I probably shouldn't have said anything in the first place.
Things getting so scrambled with the anchors here between Celsius and Zekin.
This is again been the issue though. Look at them. Overwhelmed by this pace. On the open.
Here's some serious deja vu from yesterday against Wolves. The team from China starting on attack.
Do you think SEN could win the whole thing? They haven't been looking good. Like, they can win the whole thing, but they cannot if they continue to play like this. You know what I mean? How they're playing like right now doesn't necessarily indicate how they will play in playoffs. But if they play like this, they can't win. It's crazy how they play two Chinese teams, now they fix that shit for playoffs. Not really. They might have ended up playing a Team Liquid with a substitute too. Like, the only teams that they needed to avoid really was like Gen G and Paper X, I guess. And I guess Heretics, if like Heretics won, like Heretics after playing Paper X, if they bounce back kind of thing. Everyone can win. Like, unironically, it's true. Is Raze a terrible choice for a map like Icebox for pro play? Raze is a terrible choice for Icebox in both pro play and not pro play. Actually, I'll take it back. I think Raze is probably probably slightly underrated, but like not great. You know, it's not great. There were times where Raze was played on this map. And there are reasons to play it. There are reasons to play it. But it's not the best.
SEN have not been able to string these rounds together. This time though, they got ultimates that can dictate tempo a little bit more to the defenders' favor. Viper's Pit there at B. Lockdown should have been.
I think Raze almost forces you to play this map more correctly. And that's what Team Liquid did once, where like they were running the Raze on defense and had like a strategy around the Raze, but it made their defense, like their macro, actually really good because like they were playing Icebox almost how it should be played, where they played into like more retakes and like less committed site holds, and so the Icebox was better because of that in a weird way. Oh, that's kind of. Who makes a strat and says, yeah, Harvey, you're gonna jump in the window and then you're gonna line up in the window? This, okay, I think I've seen 0% of A splits work, and I've even paused it on the 4v5. Does the A split work? What are the bets? You guys will know probably because you watched the game, but I'm still betting it doesn't work. Yeah, Paper X did one, and we were 5v3 and we still lost it. Oh, even with the dash across? Yeah, it doesn't work. It's never worked. This strat has never worked. It doesn't matter how smart you are or how good your Valor plant looks, this strat will never work. Okay, then maybe it works. Maybe it works. No, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. A Venn diagram of disaster. Or something else a disaster.
SEN having to fight tooth
At the moment, it's bad.
almost through. Self-affirmation part of the tool set for a competitive player.
You know, I'd love to see teams on attack go to the A split. It's very rare, but unfortunately, when you try to reinvent the wheel on Icebox, you lose the round. You hate to see it. I think the A split win rate up
Bulls.
to
I was thinking of boobs, not bulls, to be honest.
Keep on trying. I love to see the attack. It's just so hard to pull off.
It's YZ this time. He's getting up to very early.
The ace on Icebox, you lose
Yeah,
the
and then Sen don't even shift macro ever, so it's like they think that this thing is working. How was their Icebox in like, to be honest with you, like what I'm seeing from BLG is not bad. Like they're not doing anything that I'm like worried about. They're getting away with like stuff like this a little bit, which is okay. Well, they played it once. Hmm.
Oh, what happened to Zek in there? He's very, very low. Just some trades here. Shots through the one way, most likely.
It's not like I'm not saying like because they're losing this half they need to change the macro, but I was already identifying issues potentially with this macro. And the fact that they're struggling completely means that they probably do need to change it, right? Like, thoughts on the Omega Fuck A smoke Boaster does. What was a Mega Fuck A? A Mega Fuck A. I remember sometimes Boaster came up with these strats, and I was just like, yeah, sure, bro. Just, you know, sure. A Mega Fuck A. Was there a weird Viper wall? I'm actually interested. I am locked in. Oh, Mega Fuck A. It's a Mega Fuck A. I don't think it's Mega, it's Omega. Is it this? This one? I mean, this isn't the Omega Fuck smoke. The strat was called Omega Fuck A. I think. Or Mega Fuck A. And this just so happened to be the smoke we used. And the idea was that I think it's just like, we're getting bored. They're shit A. Let's just kill them on A. I think that was the strat. Wait, this is an Icebox related question, so I'm allowed to answer it, even if it is about Boaster. It's Icebox.
Oh my god.
Nonchalant.
I don't accept questions about Boaster, but if it's Boaster and Icebox, then he hits the category.
This middle area of the map, the rest of the team making a lot of noise B main, and then I believe they run away out of B main to try and audio cue a pivot. Is Nary gonna catch YZ here?
My favorite name for a strat is John Cena. Okay, we're actually on a tangent now, but I'm sorry, but content comes first. John Cena, right? Because we had this strat, we had a wait. So just for context, we recently been discussing strats on some maps about they're called we're calling them mass splits, right? Or disguise splits. The idea being that like you pretend you're execing B, but secretly you're like actually walking behind the smoke with two players, and you disguise your split. And you use this smoke to make it look like you're B-execing, but you're not. Surprise, there's two people. In Summon FC in 2021, or 2020, sorry, this strat was called Ho 40. Because we had a player called Mo on our team. And for some reason, Mo was part of the, for some reason, both called it Ho 40. So the idea was that Mo and one other player would walk behind the smoke and kill them. But then we also had, I think John Cena actually wasn't part of this strat. So maybe I was wrong to include this part, but you know, John Cena So like we understood quite early on Split about this idea of taking mid control and then prodding this side and going this side, or prodding this side and then go this side, which is something that even teams nowadays are like struggling with sometimes. But because we were geniuses at the game in 2020, we already understood this dynamic. To be honest, we just copied Angel. Angel understood this dynamic in 2020. And so we had a strat specifically, like, because our team wasn't amazing at like on the fly stuff, we just set them all the strats. So the strat was we put a little bit of fake pressure here, and then we end A, right? And so we called it John Cena because it's a fake, but you also, his name ends in an A, and so you end A. So that's how I remembered what strat it was. Because we had a strat where we would do fake pressure here and then end B. But I couldn't remember which one was which. So the one where you end A is John Cena. So yeah, this is my favorite strat name, is John Cena. What other names do we have? Oh, actually, I guess the one on Plat Chat that Bosa spoke about a long time ago was we have Ferrari strats. And then we have Honda Civic strats. Was it Honda Civic? I can't remember what it was actually. We had a Ferrari A, which was like a rush on A, and then we had a Honda Civic A, which was like a slow A. That was pretty good. Strat names are an important part of team morale and strategy creation. Bro, my leaking strats, bro. I could tell you every strat Fnatic had, and like no one's. What are they gonna do? What are they gonna do? They're gonna lock me up. Also, I'm talking about strats that were invented by an unsigned team in 2020. So I own the IPs that.
Levy is in position for a wrap. Sen surely. Oh, they got a turret watching the timing, but it doesn't seem to matter because they're fighting over the B. It's favoring this Chinese squad. It is Russia dominating Yellow again and again.
Why did the snowman cross the road? Because the other side was more cozy.
He's stepping up from the last games we saw of him during their qualifying. He was good, but he's hitting another.
Why did the snowman on Icebox cross the road? Because the other side was more cozy.
One more orb and he'll have it. BLG are just so proactive. They are just choosing to swing out.
I don't get it. I still don't get it.
Out in the open on these retake efforts.
Defensive null command is already here for John.
Can you explain it? I really don't get it.
So effectively.
You know, at no point Sen have even had a worthy enough economy to try and op in this half.
But it's not an Icebox joke because I don't understand where the funny part is. What's cozy?
Get down mid. BLG have certainly been sending silent lurks in that area of the map, so hoping to catch someone.
I don't get it. What's the pun?
From that area. Levy's pulled it out.
Bro, I can't ban this person because the joke might be funny and I might be stupid.
Now Sen have that mid control this round.
I love that from Zelsis. This is a really intelligent pivot.
Do you think a difference between a good coach and a great coach is because they take accountability when something's bad? Like yesterday, Kaplan saying that Icebox game plan was hard in the press conference. Obviously you can't. The example I'd give here, sorry, I don't know this isn't necessarily tied to this, but I think it was an interesting enough question to actually answer. I look at Blade from Counter-Strike, right? So like my counterpoint to my entire point about like it would be very easy to agree with your point, but Blade in Counter-Strike is a coach that I think probably doesn't follow a lot of the things that I would consider a good coach to be, and yet is probably the greatest coach in Counter-Strike of all time, or at least top 2, because his strategic grasp on the game is so good that I think that outweighs everything. And he's clearly not a bad coach, but there's a lot of ways that he seems to work and organize his teams that I would disagree with, and would say that probably makes for a bad coach a lot of the time. So it's like really hard to say. But yes, for what I consider a good coach to be, if I was like GMing a team or like a CEO of an org, and I was trying to look for coaches, a coach that is willing to kind of admit blame is probably got a lot of soft skills that make them a good coach. The coaches that complain a lot are coaches that I generally think are probably not very good coaches. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
Gotta be joining the team now.
wants to get
Even if like you're faking it to some degree, I think it's better than like well, the thing about Frost is I think that's different. Like, I don't necessarily complain in that kind of way. Like, my personal preference for that kind of stuff is to not get involved very much. But what I mean is, like, making excuses for your losses, if you know what I mean.
To the rescue. Levius sees one of them, but he can't stop Zelsis.
I think Frost is a good coach. I think he's probably not a good coach for some teams. Like, his style would be very bad for some teams. But I think that for Talon, at least the Talon that I know, like before the Thai roster, I think he was very good for Talon. I don't know the dynamic now because he's got like a full Thai roster right now. So TLTR, Sentinels had a defense side where they played the same macro over and over again and didn't look particularly comfortable. BLG looked reasonable on an Icebox attack, but I wasn't locked into their attack as much. Sentinels could very easily take Genji. Obviously, Genji looked good, but I think you would be surprised. Like, I think you'd be surprised. It depends on the map pool. I think that Genji's map pool should be better and should be able to exploit Sen, though. Just depends on... Yeah, I think Genji's map pool is going to be good enough. Should be Genji.
Nice little classic right click to open things.
Wait, what was your explanation? What was your explanation? There are two sides on Icebox, and he went to the other side because there was no one, so it was cozy. Bro, that's not a joke. That's not how jokes work. The joke's so bad you made me laugh, though. I'm not banning someone for a bad joke. Sorry, I'm not banning someone for a joke that literally makes no sense. I'll ban someone for a joke that's bad. But for a joke that literally makes zero sense, I don't know what someone's capable of if they're capable of making jokes that don't make sense. I'm not banning that person. But I'm not having someone making jokes like that. I think, again, I don't think you understand. Like, this person's made a joke that has no basis in reality. So, like, I don't want to know the kind of person that, you know, what kind of damage they could do to me if I ban them. I want revenge. I'm not risking it. Making a bad pun joke, dad joke, or whatever, you know, I could ban you for that. Because you're probably like a reasonable person. Okay. Lovely. He's just playing TDM. Great. So Sen should have won this round.
That is raw sauce.
Exploiting that overextension and aggression from the defenders. Now Levius wants to get in a decent position. He's breaking ankles. They don't know which side to look on. He's just making
So stupid.
No force here though in the anti-eco. Pistols and Neff says, well, don't mind if I do.
He loves just
Do you prefer the wall that covers Nest and Belt or the one that BLG is doing?
Don't mind if I do.
Nest and Belt? Do you mean... Nest and belt. Nest and belt. I don't know how you would. I don't. You may re-ask me that question in a bit when I understand what you mean. Because they're just cascading below belt right now. The Viper Wall.
He gets away with it again.
You mean like a Viper Wall that does this? Or something like that? The G2 wall was wasn't the G2 wall I can't remember when they showed me it before, and I have seen it before. Was the G2 wall this way? I can't remember. I'd be down for trying a different wall. We never tried any other walls really. I'd be down for trying a different wall. I think when there's logic makes some sense. I don't think other teams would I don't think it's worth trying for other teams because they don't. A lot of teams don't really play the map in the way that that wall would make sense. I don't know. Also, it depends on what duelist is. Like, it depends on what my duelist's comfort is on taking those deep spaces. Let's see, Vance. I mean, this wall, like the problem with this wall, like if I were going to talk about negatives, right? This wall doesn't help you in any forward position whatsoever. So you get no value from the wall in any kind of aggressive position. And then the second issue is that as soon as they scale to this point and push you off, if you put up the wall, they can just wait. And then they just go through the wall after. And so you deny yourself information, and the attack just waits. The only thing that is good for it is allowing delayed rotations, pretty much. And then on the retake, it's also like fairly valid. So like, it's not the worst, but like there are definitely negatives to this wall. Do you like Harbor better or Gecko to plant diffuse spike? I prefer Gecko over Harbor personally. But... Love my casting. Thank you very much. I haven't listened to back. Like I'm gonna listen back to my last cast soon, but I felt a lot more happy about my last cast. That my feeling after my last cast was the best feeling I've had casting so far. Because generally I come away thinking that I still got a lot of work to do, obviously, but.
Sensei, right, we'll wait this one out. In the middle of the dark couple is Wisey, hovering over them like a spectre.
But I'm probably going to be analyst desking a lot more, I imagine now, because Mr. Highbox back. So I'll probably be desking a lot more. But I'm very thankful to be able to. Very thankful Pansy asked me to do it. Like it was very scary at first, and I was very shit at first. And I'm still not amazing, but.
They're always forcing Sen to part with their util in order to do so. Very expensive.
I do feel like with, you know, like a few more months, I think I can get to a decent-ish spot though.
On those attack side lurks. He's hearing a lot of movement there actually. Of the players going through kitchen. That should alert the rest of the team that they can get into this B site off.
And yeah, coaching. I don't play. Again, I talk about this a lot. I don't plan on coming back to full time. But like I'll take offers and see what happens. Like I don't plan on it at the moment.
So Celsius hasn't been able to be effective in his position outside of just radioing back some of this information.
Sorry, let's actually watch the round properly instead of me yapping. So bonus round, BLG actually fighting for B control. I think that if I was Sen, I would start immediately thinking that this seems they can read this two ways, right? It could be a Viper by themselves, just being an asshole, pretending to be aggressive, or it's actually a very aggressive idea. So like, I would start to think about this if I'm Sen and be ready to. If I played Sova, I would leave my Sova here right now I'd start sending people back this way and get ready to drone out B. And if I only saw the Sova, I'd call them back and we go B. And if I saw a lot of pressure, I'd probably end up going. Or maybe we just throw a KO knife or something. Like, we need to just figure out if there's lots of people here right now. And we don't want to overcommit, because there's a very good chance there's 3 people here.
In the middle of the dark cover is Wisey, hovering over them like a spectre. Holding onto it as well, it's narrated, taken out, and he just drops back.
With the Spectre as well, and now they want to double up play back yellow. They have been spotted out by the 0 point steal. Nice little cascade to play off. I like that Renusha giving good utility to support, to these anchors.
Slowly, Billy giving up this map control, but they're always forcing Sen to part with their util in order to do so. Very expensive advancement for Sen across the map here.
Celsius is hoping to be on his Neff arc going through Tube. Hoping to have as much impact as the Viper did on those attack side lurks. He's hearing a lot of movement there, actually. Of the players going through kitchen. That should alert the rest of the
Do
team.
I ever miss being on
and it's nice when you have those additional dark
stage with the team and the competitive thrill?
Zelsa surely has heard this.
Okay, let me finish out this round. I can answer.
So Zelsa hasn't been able to be effective in his position outside of just radioing back some of this information.
Zelsa's doing well. Okay, nice post. The retakes on B are not amazing with this comp, I don't think. I think they're okay. They're not amazing. I would say that I, of course, like anyone would miss some of that stuff. But like it comes at the cost, right? Like of course I miss all the positives of coaching, but then I don't miss the negatives of coaching, you know? The reality of it is that the days in which I competed as a coach were days that I was exhausted, I was tired, and I couldn't eat all day because it was so stressful. And the feeling was that like I wish like the day would be over a lot of the time. Like it was very stressful. Like if I could, like if I had like the remote control and click, that film click, I would probably want to skip through that day because it was just too much. And I had to like, obviously like I'm a reasonable enough person to be able to just still act professional and you know, mask it extremely well, apart from on the coach cam sometimes. But yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. Like I cared so much that like the way I describe it is like winning feels good for about an hour, and then losing feels rough for about 3 weeks. Like honestly. Yeah.
Gets a lot of information over towards
so it's like it's a tough one.
They are so far pushed up. They are trying to drown into B. It's
like even winning like major trophies, you feel like you're a fucking god for about like a day, and then the next day you're like, okay, well, what's the next tournament kind of thing. I won't be watching Paper Rex, no. I won't be bothering Paper Rex.
Yeah, nice to be able to have that utility to set up second, be very involved.
I was making a joke about the answer for Liquid MIBR. Like, I was answering it ironically because the question is bad. To ask me, can a team beat another team? The answer is never going to be no, unless it's like ludicrous, you know what I mean? Of course Liquid could beat MIBR, like... I imagine MIBR are going to reset now, and Aspas should look like a different player. And if they just literally went Aspas go kill mode, like, they shouldn't have any problems beating Team Liquid. But it just depends on what MIBR we see. What are the win conditions for Liquid? It's more about, are MIBR going to be shit or not, I think. Liquid is just about... Like, is Nats playing? Is Nats playing? Because both those situations are different. Oh, Nats is playing. I mean, the problem is I don't think they've had much practice with Nats. So the win condition is essentially being confident and comfortable to be playing a bit looser than usual, I guess. Do you think you went through a different experience compared to a lot of coaches, or it's the kind of experience that follows within a lot of coaches? I think my experience is fairly common. The difference is that I think that other people, I think that my personality doesn't make coaching good for my mental health, like probably more than other coaches. Like I think there's some coaches who deal with it a lot better naturally. Whereas I think I have some issues with the idea of losing. Yeah. Which probably extend past like normal levels. And it's probably something to do with some fucked up psychology. I don't know. Like, I'm a perfectionist. Like, I'm a perfectionist. And I'm a pessimist and a perfectionist. So like I presume the worst is gonna happen. Every single time we played, I presume we're gonna lose. And what that means is that I'm really good at making sure that we fix every single mistake, because it means that like I know every possible way we can lose. Sometimes you have to accept that you don't have enough time to fix it all, but you know, that's the only restraint. The only restraint when I was coaching was time. Like, yeah. Which meant that I did nothing but coach Valorant. That is kind of funny. That was quite nice from Bang. I've never seen someone do that where they just orb up and spam that. Hey, Joel the Sailor. Which coach do I feel the most sorry for? The most sorry for? Basically, the answer to that question is a coach that's good, that their team did not play good. Or got fucked over. I mean, Doombro's kind of got fucked over. So I feel sorry for him on some level, but ultimately Doombros has had a very successful career and the community's perception of him is positive. So it's not really much to feel sorry about. Potter? I mean, Potter could choose to leave EG though. So it's like, it's not exactly like, I don't feel sorry for someone who's decided to stay at a team, if that makes sense. And again, how can you feel sorry for someone so successful and so like beloved, you know? It's like not exactly the worst situation to be in. MCE? I don't know enough about MCE's situation. From the outside, it probably looks a bit rough, but I don't know enough. How many death slams you have or help in paper? It's not very many. I don't. I think I might have had one, actually. Maybe I did it once. But no, it's not like that at all. It's not like that at all.
There's going to be someone eco around here. Neff going for that Guardian. Early high tide here just to cover that A side of the map as Billy look to hedge their bets through mid and B.
I want to lock in a second.
I'll tell you, Billy would love to be able to force some of these ultimates out on this round. So when they get
wait, what's Cataclysm saying?
The advantage in terms of the ult economy with Kena being one away. Still holding on to their lockdown as
This Gen G team looks way better than G2 were at the end of stage 1. No, they don't. No, they don't. I would be happy to come back to Gen G and talk about I don't want to do it right now. And I don't want to do it. I don't want to go into that level of detail whilst PaperX are still playing. But I think Gen G are doing very well. I think Gen G are doing very well and they look good. And they could absolutely win this tournament. But there are massive holes in some of their maps, and they're getting away with murder on some of them. There are holes, but they're the kind of holes that like they have bigger holes than G2. Like I can't put it any other way. Like we're comparing them to G2, they're not gonna. You can. Like G2 don't have the holes they do. But again, Gen.G absolutely can win this tournament. Like Gen.G look good, and their structure is good, and it's nice to watch a team that actually plays like a good structured Valorant, especially in a group stage environment. Like they aren't the top 4 team going through right now, and they're providing good Valorant to watch. Let's compare them to Fnatic. Yeah, I mean, I think that, yeah, I mean, we're comparing, like, basically the way I see G2 is as, like, probably one of the most strategic teams of all time. And I don't think their macro understanding and foundations are just so much better than most of the teams. So, like, you're not going to convince me. It doesn't mean that Gen.G are worse or are better than them or couldn't win this tournament. But in terms of strategic understanding, like, the way G2 play maps a lot of the time is better. G2 haven't played after this meta change though. Bro. We're going into a meta which is pretty much like 2023 meta 2.0. And Anders worked with Fnatic in 2023. Anders has been around making strats since 2021. Josh RT's been around for years. Like, this team is the longest foundation of a team that we've had in history. Like, they know how to play Sova. Like, I like, for sure, they could look worse in this meta. But I'm saying as a strategic understanding of the game, they could be playing any fucking meta and it wouldn't matter. Their understanding of the game is the best. It's 2024, not 2023. I think it's 2023. I think it's borderline 2023 meta.
Last time was when Narrate thrashed out on defense. Zekin is, look at him.
Why is it not 2024 meta? I guess it is just 2024 meta. What's the difference? Why am I fucking this up? It is 2024 meta 2.0, yeah. It is 2024 meta 2.0.
Also, has his ultimate available? Where are we headed with that? You want more?
Then taking their time on the flanks, waiting to see if anyone is going to push out Thrash.
Put that team in peak chamber meta, they'd farm. I see. My hunch is that like peak chamber meta would be their worst. Actually, they got Leaf. They do have Leaf, bro. They have Leaf and yeah. My hunch is that like chamber meta did even the playing field a lot in a weird way, but they have Leaf, so it's. You know. Sorry, I'll log back into the game a little bit. I'd love to be able to like be someone who can actually explain these things. So like, you know how like you know, we do have good content creators and analysts in the scene, but a lot of the times we kind of don't spend the time to sit down and actually explain these concepts. We kind of just say things, you know. We'll say that like I will just say things like I think G2 is the best strategic team in the world. And then I don't actually get time to break it down. Like I do VOD reviews of G2 and I try and explain stuff sometimes. But like I think I would love to be able to fill the niche of being someone who could like actually detail out these things and explain why and not just say. You know what I mean?
Expecting maybe there's going to be a Dizzy with a teleport up top from Zekin there.
Because like it's so easy. Like I think I said this with Leo as well. It's like Leo the player. Like everyone just says that Leo's like a perfect player or like does everything perfectly and stuff, but no one's ever gone out and tried to explain why or how. And there's very few people who could do that. And I'm one of those people that could probably show you how well he's like making decisions and positioning and stuff like that. So I really want to be like I really want to fill the niche in Valorant content, I guess, or even broadcast, of being the person who can show.
call
and
to
tell.
that from
You know what I mean?
Billy. All of the players stacked towards
And
B
not just say.
with
You know what I mean?
the pit down there. SEN, they want nothing to do with it. You know, this comp that they have, it is lacking a tool to really effectively deal with getting through a pit.
I think I wouldn't bother comparing Fnatic and G2. It's just pointless.
Go towards this A site. YZ is hoping
The standard of Valorant is kind of higher, but there's definitely things that have regressed. There are things that have regressed. Or maybe maybe less teams were doing them, and I was just so used to just focusing on the best teams in the world back then that like I had a bias or something. I don't know.
The spike is so far forward. It is out in the open. Zekin has to help John retrieve, and they've got to come forward. Playing from Crow's Nest now. It's Zekin in a 1 versus 3. Rush is too quick for him. 3 for the Harbor. Map point for Billy.
it's been a great effort for SEN to come back on this second half. But at the very last moment, Billy are looking like
This is good Cataclysm. So Cataclysm says there are so much more competitive teams in 2025 compared to 2023. And I think about this a lot in like terms of UFC, right? Like in the UFC, we have you have like a champion who might dominate a division, and then a lot of the time people might be like, oh, that yeah, but he's just if a champion's dominating a division, it must be a bad division because he's just stomping everyone. And it's like impossible. It's impossible to analyze through results. I feel like how good, like just because a bunch of teams are competitive, doesn't mean that they're either better or worse. Like they could all just be shit, and it's more competitive because they're all shit. Or like they could all be really good and they're more competitive because they're all really good.
they're going to capture another win with Rusha and YZ both at 22 kills right now. That's what they finished with the other day when they played Icebox. But they've still got more rounds to push things further. They are playing so well. It was dangerous from YZ's point of view.
Fishy, I ignored your question because I already answered this earlier on. I do think that SEN are missing a Sova, yes. I did a whole breakdown of Sova versus KO at the start of this VOD. So if you're interested in that, you can go back and watch, and why I think that Sova is necessary. It's all good. It's all good. It's fine. I should have told you. I should have just answered the question by telling you to go back and watch. Anyway, I've missed a lot of these rounds because I've not been locked in at all. So I apologize to anyone who was here for not yapping reasons, but for actual, you know, me banging on about filling a niche of like actually talking about the game, and I'm just not talking about the game at all. I remember watching this round actually. I just remember seeing YZ's confidence there, just being like, I think they've won this round, just because it looks so stupid how confident he is.
No respect for Billy here.
Prod on A, finish B. But look how slow they are. Because so SEN put pressure here and then want to end B. But because SEN are so obsessed with hard clearing yellow, and everyone seemingly thinking yellow is like a really difficult position that we need to really consider in all our macro. Look at this. Like they could very easily just exec B right now and plant. Instead, they smoke themselves off. They knife yellow. And then, so let's see the timing. So 55. No, wait. So they smoke at 15, 58, 57, 56. 55-ish. So 55-ish is when I would say that they should start just execing B. So they take yellow. I guess they are behind a Viper Orb, so it's fine.
K-Knight does have that ring on the start.
But like you see what I mean? Like it's almost like they maybe I don't have the solution to this, but it feels like they're doing step 1 and then step 2 instead of just doing it all in one step. And so now the Viper Wall's down, the orb's delayed, and now there's 4 people where they are. Like I know Zelsis Gomes here, and I remember him killing Sova. But I'm wondering if they should be doing it more like just going step 1. But then I guess it's kind of the counterpoint is this orb is just going to fuck them either way. I guess the strat just doesn't work. If you're doing pressure here to try and open up B, then to take B and then to wait yellow and then go again, it just means there's always going to be 4 people available on this side of the map. Luckily for them, Zelsis walks on A and actually finds a good timing. And,
hanging around, doesn't?
you know, this is a good timing from him and he gets a nice kill here. Because I remember this. It's a little bit lucky. Like, how many players sit there, like Knight did, and look kind of newbie?
It's convinced them that they have to go back to this A site.
Sliggy talks a lot about the comments that struggle with yellow. Yeah, I think Sliggy's wrong. Basically, is what I'm saying. I don't think yellow is that important. I've also heard him say that
Back yellow on B. Zelsis caught.
do I hate you on YouTube chat? I kind of do, to be honest with you. Like, I use YouTube as a... You can use my YouTube if you want to. But unfortunately, when I mix the chats together, I end up missing a lot of the Twitch stuff. And Twitch is more important because they actually subscribe to me. So unfortunately, I do put a heavy priority on Twitch chat. And I've kind of given up on looking at YouTube chat. I can try and figure out a system in the future that makes more sense for me. But when I combine the chats, I missed all the subscribers. And to be honest with you, people who give me money are more important to me than people who don't. Split screen the activity and stream and chat. Murray, if you tell me to split stream those things, I will never look at one of them and I'll always look at the other one. I should put up the YouTube there, but at the end of the day, I'm going to probably not look at it for an hour and then just look at it and be like, oh shit. Oh yeah, sorry YouTube chat. Yeah, let me engage with you an hour late. Sideshow has a program that works well. I can ask him about it. Tory behavior. It kind of is Tory behavior, but it is also just like reasonable behavior. Tory means conservative, which means right wing. Tory is right wing government power in the UK.
Actually has both flashes. They didn't need to use it to take back yellow earlier. He's got the molly for delay. Second is a paranoia. Gonna be tough for Billy to get back in. They do have a cove maybe to get a safe.
I'll do a better job in the future, but I'll be honest, I got really annoyed that like I essentially, like, let's be real, there's hard-working, humble people giving me money, subscribing, and then I wasn't even being thankful for that because I was missing it all. So yeah.
Gonna be tough for Billy. Billy needs a strong amount of utility to play with here as well.
Wait, so they did, so Zelsis got up and got traded, and then they lose anyway, the post plant B? Why did they lose post plant B? I thought this was like, this harbor was kind of crap, I think.
Gonna be tough for Billy to get back in. They do have a cove maybe to get a safe defuse. They're hoping to use it there.
Like, I would be waiting right now for this player to come up closer before we started flashing through.
Yep, it's going to be activated. Paranoia throwing out safe defuse. They're hoping to use it there. Yep, it's going to be activated.
I mean,
Paranoia throwing out second, just a little too slow to the punch. Narrate tucked in the corner. He knows he's gonna be
paranoia looking catfish as fuck right there. Not gonna lie. Okay.
Winning that.
Yep. Sunset. This was too easy for a SEN, wasn't it? Alright, anyway, any questions? Should I go look at YouTube chat? Should I go say hello? Yeah. Cathal Healy with the unsmiley face. Right. Okay. Oh, lovely. Look, at least there's one nice person in YouTube chat. Do you hate the SEN comp like Sliggy said? Did Sliggy hate the comp too? Yeah, I don't like the comp. The Western teams have looked god awful. I agree with this. I don't agree with Phoenix. If you got a great salary, would you assistant coach? If I could assistant coach for like 5 days a week, 9 to 5, yes, but that's not possible. I tried that one, didn't work, and this doesn't happen either. This part just doesn't happen. Like, the amount I can charge as a consultant is considerably higher than like what I would make as an assistant coach. Like, I might make more money. I would make more money consulting than I would as an assistant coach, and I wouldn't work as much. Unless someone was desperate for like a really good assistant coach, which isn't really anyone. Hello, 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 hello. Do you think Teo Fnatic comp is still good on Icebox? You just run Sova instead of Teo. What's the best agents playing solo queue? Clove, I think. Anyway, do you think Ascent being so close for paperwork was worse for the mental? No. Why do you look like Ed Sheeran? I don't know. I ask myself that a lot. I'm hoping at least cuter than Ed Sheeran though, because that guy looks a bit weird, I'll be honest. I'm hoping at least a little bit cuter. Do you think your reputation as a great head coach makes it harder for you to be an assistant coach for teams? No. Can I leak this? There was a head coach that was very interested in me becoming their assistant coach on the basis that I didn't want to be a head coach. So it like helped me. Some of the interviews were teams where I was interviewing to be an assistant coach was very difficult to navigate because the reasons I decided to be an assistant coach was to do less work. And lots of orgs were like, well, what does that mean? Like, do you not want to work? Are you going to paycheck still, kind of thing? And orgs that don't know me, i.e. every org that's not Fnatic, might ask that question. Whereas to me, it's like, well, I just want to decrease my hours from, 120 hours a week down to, say, 60. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not that I'm going to work hard. It's just that I work too hard. So I'm joking with 120. I don't know how much it was. I'm just joking. Was something surprising you learned about PaperX after working with them? There's a few things. I'm very impressed with how fast they are at making decisions. They're like their team fighting is the strongest. It is unreasonably good. Their team fighting is like I don't usually use the word team fighting when thinking about Valorant, but PaperX are the perfect team to think about when we discuss like the idea of team fighting. Is there a Sentinel debate on Sunset, or is still Cypher dominant? I think it's a Cypher map right now. I think that there will be some Vice Chamber shenanigans once G2 starts playing. I can imagine them doing Vice Chamber. So yeah. I don't like Deadlock very much. I think Vice is okay, but I think you need to really I think Wendler's putting it quite well with the way he's discussing some of this stuff is quite often we think about team comps in what can players play and what they're comfortable with. Whereas I do think that the biggest question really is what are the coaches comfortable with? How good are the coaches at understanding these comps and theories? I think that a lot of coaches probably cannot run some of the like more complicated comps because they're just not as smart, to be honest with you. So like some teams would probably struggle. Like even me, like I probably struggle with Vice Chamber. Like there's probably some stuff I'd be missing. but I can see the value from it for sure. Like I know Viper is probably more complicated than playing standard double initiator, but like I would feel pretty comfortable running Viper. Yeah, solo deadlock I think is pretty one-dimensional. Yeah, there are gaps on the map basically. I'm gonna help with Paper X. I'm still giving them notes. Like I gave them notes from yesterday. But I'm being very upfront about the fact that like my impact on the team has been like, you know, when I asked Victoria why she thought Paper X was doing better, she referenced Patman, like, and then like I was like talking about the role changes and the comfort in the roles, and then also Panda, their performance coach, coming in, and like the whole reset of that. And then I think like genuinely like third or fourth on the list is like having some of my input. Like I don't think, and that's probably the bottom of the list. So I'm not pretending to be, you know. How big of an advantage do you think it's have G2 have Anders as their coach? I think it's very, very impactful in a year where maps are being changed in and out and metas are changing fast. Change titles to Q&A? Nope. I'm just in between maps. Humble King? No, I'm not being humble. I'm not being humble. I'm being sincere. I'm being genuinely sincere. I am not a humble person. The way I keep saying it, I was pretending to be humble the entire time I was on Fnatic. I am not humble. But I'm just being very realistic. Why do I feel like Heretics lose to Wolves today? I have that weird feeling too. When you're coaching, you need to have this mindset that like you can always lose, and you're like, I was playing the character of being a good leader for the players. The truth of it is, if you asked me sincerely what I thought of the teams when I was doing interviews, I probably would be like, yeah, they're shit. Like, if you were like, oh, how do you feel about the game today? I'd be like, oh, they're terrible. Like, we're gonna win. But I would never do that. Like, I would never do that. Because that just puts an unreasonable amount of pressure on the team. And it's a very bad mentality to have. Like it's a losing answer because the answer to all the questions were what's going to be the best for my team to succeed, and answering questions honestly was never the right way to go. If your cold rational assessment indicates that you're good at something, then being humble is kind of unnecessary unless you need to do the humility for PR or other strategic reasons. Pretty much, yeah. I do think that it's underrated though. Like it's very underrated to understand your role and position, and like you have to play it up a little bit, the humbleness, because no one wants to work with someone being a dickhead, right? Really, do they? Like, and like it's really bad. Like if I caught players ever saying that a team was shit or something, I'd obviously scold them immediately. And I wouldn't accept that kind of line of thinking, you know. But deep down, on some level, I would think that some teams are awful. Do I still make notes for Fnatic? No, I'm not part of Fnatic. Is there a way to work on neuroticism in competitive environments? Sounds like you've dealt with it. What do you mean by neuroticism? When I think of neuroticism, I think of Woody Allen and like a little dweeby nerd. Who was the worst team he played against? Who was the worst team? What's the team that we played and I thought, what the fuck are they doing? Is there a team that I ever played against? I was like, what the fuck is that? I mean, they were better when we played them here, I think. Like, they actually did put us on... They actually did do quite well. But they, like, clearly, they were very bad. I can't remember any game standing out as like, oh my god, this team was terrible. Like, genuinely just terrible. I do remember this Haven game. I think I distinctly remember this game being very easy. Obviously, Crew came back and beat us later that year. But like Haven specifically, I remember us having a pretty good read on how to play against this weird comp. And then Icebox, one of my timeouts was just like, my timeout was essentially, they took a timeout and I think I said something along the line. Like, my timeouts in 2021 were pretty terrible. But I remember just saying like, look, Dirk is just shitting on them. Like, I was something along the lines of like Dirk is just shitting on them. Like they just read what they've been doing the same thing for the past 6 rounds. Just make sure you read what they're doing differently, and just like as long as Dirk is around the action, we're gonna win. Basically, like it was pretty ludicrous. Crew was the easiest team to anti. Yeah, it was. They basically ran the same. Even this, I fucked up with this one. I think I fucked up with this one. This one was, yeah. Bro, we shouldn't have lost this Haven. The split was pretty anti-able. They ran the same. They would do the same defense macro a lot of the time. I think playing one macro defense is a genuinely good strategy with some compositions that make sense for one macro defense. Like there are some comps that like it almost wants you to play just one macro, and you kind of play the setup over and over again. But it felt like with Crew they were a bit too repetitive.
To leave it for a later series, perhaps.
What role is Boaster most comfortable on? I mean, smokes? Why do I look so mad? What are you talking about? Am I still rooting for Fnatic? To be fully honest about it, like, there is obviously a big part of me that still wants the team to succeed, because obviously, like, I was there and I enjoy everyone and I like the boys and I like the management and stuff. But there's obviously still part of you when you leave where you're like, you kind of hope that they don't just fucking win everything without you. But I think that I've got over that. Like, I've got over that. Like, I don't think I have anything to prove as a coach. So I have no reason to not want them to do well.
SEN going to be relying on the information that they were able to glean from that affair.
The last time Billy made a global playoffs, it was to beat.
Who do you want to see win if G2 played Fnatic? Like, the part of my brain that wants good Valorant to win is, like, obviously Fnatic play very good Valorant, but I still think that G2 are, like, the best right now in terms of, like, consistently showing good Valorant. So that part of my brain would want G2 to win. And then the part of the brain that just, you know, is loyal to, you know, previous people, it would say that Fnatic, you know. So I don't really... It depends on my mood, I guess, at the time.
Waits on the other side of this map for your attack side team, folks, and they're already headed over to A. SEN not really in attendance.
On that roster, that was still YZ, K Knight. They know what it takes to get to that position.
I would at least want, like, if Fnatic are gonna win, it has to be like show me some really good Valorant, show me some beautiful Valorant. You know what I mean? Don't just beat G2 in a way that I'm just like, oh, you beat G2 like that, really?
into
Right, anyway. So we're going to focus more on Sentinels this half because they destroyed. So straight off the bat, B main pistol. They got this weird camera. I don't know if it sees over here, but we saw Zelsis looking over here. So at least it's covering top middle. I would presume it also does this because I think it's that camera. Is it a fake stun? Is John gonna fake stun? Because obviously right here, it would be ideal if Breach was like here, ready to stun something. I would hope that if he's A, it's just to mask this setup and he fake stuns or something.
Gaming, who they were able to watch. This is where they beat Liquid.
He doesn't fake stun.
Into this position.
Oh! The camera's seeing, and then he'll stun off the camera to make it feel like a heavy A, hoping that they go B split. And then they have 3B. Okay, cool. Yep, you got it. You got it, Chuck. You were ahead of me. My bad.
The last time Billy made a global playoffs, it was to beat a North American team to do so.
Why is Celsius not just flicking the camera around every 2 seconds?
Some time ago.
Okay.
That's what waits on the other side of this map for your attack side team, folks. And they're already headed.
Oh, they're really scared of this. Like the camera didn't see this, maybe? They're really scared of it. Oh, because the trip broke. So trip broke, so he has to come this way. Okay. And then we see push out B main. Okay. All valid. Like already, like unironically, already, SEN doing better things on their sunset than their entire Icebox. Like this is all like feels more textbook stuff, and then some nice, cute little ideas. Like,
not really in attendance.
You know, it's not the best thing I've ever seen, but it's all making logical sense. Maybe, maybe I spoke too soon. But I'm not being results based here. Like genuinely, it looked better. Ideally, at this point, you would connect the rooks. We're using chess theory. We connect the rooks here. Have these two actually playing with each other. The only problem is they're probably scared of like an ant, like 4 ants just running at them. But if they did connect rooks here, then they would be ready to like help middle too. Like they could come middle, and if there was any contact middle, they could actually like, you know, shoot from both sides. So that could have been like, maybe I'm like being a bit devil's advocate here. A little bit like hindsighty, but I think that would make sense.
Lovely. He was waiting for that. He knew, of course, there'd be contact taken by his top mid teammates.
Even a tank onto Zelsis, 13 HP. Backboba doubling up with John, who has a full kit, but no players to actually use it with.
A main is weak though. John would be exposed from the back. Yeah, for sure. He would be. I mean, but A main is weak anyway. Like, they're playing A for retake, which is the easier side to retake. So it doesn't really matter. Like, as long as you don't expose yourself to this timing for like more than like 10 seconds, you're fine. Not many people are gonna walk up here and then kill you in the back. Sometimes you just need to take those risks. Like it's not. You're never gonna be able to play Valorant that has no risks. You know, you're always gonna have to take some kind of risk, and that is a very small risk to take. Like unless BLG made 0 noise on the map and we knew there was 5A, then obviously you wouldn't need to like turn your back. Unless they're cheating. Yeah, unless they're cheating. Unless they're on the Shongar's watch list.
13-10 result for them. We may not see Lotus if they keep this up. Already over towards.
Is that a good knife? Lands on top. Is that an unbreakable knife on top? It's quite nice. This is the kind of thing that might become meta, and then you just end up just sitting about like just away from it, and then you cage up and go back, maybe.
Already over towards B. checking for trap wires. None are present. There's going to be a counter push here coming.
Oh, I quite like this too. I gotta get respect here for BLG. It's not smoking this choke and actually smoking it deep, and then threatening to push through. So obviously the map's changed, and playing post plant from B main is not as easy. And so a better, like a good post plant idea is to actually try and control this space a little bit. So smoking this and then threatening this means that you tax a lot of the utility from the defenders coming this way. And then if you don't get kills, you can just play, you know, full back and you've taxed their util.
Checking for trap wires. None are present. There's going to be a counter push here coming out of.
So I quite like this. And then if the defenders actually for some reason go for heavy down here, you have a better, you know, you better have better control over the site. Yep, good information about control.
Ready to receive him. Zach can just cut down before he can really land any sort of damage. And that's just going to push this. He says, oh, well, let's just see what's on the other side of tomorrow.
I watched that last round. Are you referring to the last round where they tried to spam the smoke?
Easy as you like.
Yeah, I saw that round.
Straightforward bonus. Russia even had a proper rifle in this round.
This is continuing the clean and they're not though evidently.
This one fall by the
Okay,
wayside.
2-0. 2-0. 2-0.
Icebox, they gave up the bonus in it.
Fast A main.
Really came back to her.
Kind of uncommitted though.
Wisey forced off
So
that
BLG faking their A main pressure with recon flash.
paranoid.
But ultimately Bang just gets to sit in this corner.
Really came back to hurt them.
Very nice from Sen though. Like, look at this.
On Icebox, they gave up the
So Sen throw the smoke, he dodges the flash, immediately paranoia. It's almost like they, again, like Sunset's just, they're just so much better at Sunset, aren't they? So they dodge the flash, they have the reaction for the neon, they recontrol this line, and then because they control this line, they know that they're not going A.
back to hurt them. Wisey forced off
So
that
even the fade ready to kill the recon. Now, I don't know what Bang's doing right now, but he should just be watching this line and be able to say, well, there's nothing A. And then you should see a rotation towards B from the right. And then we have 3 on B ready. So right now, Sen are winning this round in terms of macro.
Right into mid. And all of a sudden there's so much pressure on Zelsis. Oh, Borussia.
Okay, Russia.
Snap. John. Tiny.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, in these moments, I feel like you're gonna see John QT get four kills. You're like, oh my god, John QT played really well. But like, I don't see that. Like, I obviously see John hit some nice shots here. But what I saw was that at the start of the round. Like, this is the important thing to me. Like, okay, like, Sen are winning the macro now because they know where BLG are going. It means that this player gets to rotate this way, this player gets to rotate this way. They consolidate on market, and then just easily win the round. Like, to me, this, like, these shots is almost like, if I was a coach, I'd be like, okay, John, nice shots. But that's as far as that compliment would go. Like, everything else would be Bang's won them this round. Like, what Bang did is the winning the round here, not what John did. Like, obviously, you gotta give John credit for those shots, but Bang won them the round, not John. And, like, that's the way that, like, being a coach is. Like, a good coach is gonna be able to isolate out those things that are winning you rounds that are unrelated to getting frags. Or, like, understanding which frags were, like, actually useful.
Approach might be necessary, not unlike the one we saw in Icebox, so they pinged across the map a bit.
I feel like Breach is kind of essential for Sunset. No. No. You will see some teams toy with Viper, and you'll see some teams toy with Vice Chamber. And some teams run double initiator without Breach. Like, some teams run KO.
Slowed things down. A tad that dark cover on the right side. They would hope could.
I think I prefer the Breach to KO, but I haven't played Breach. I haven't felt Breach since the nerf with the stun. Some people seem to think it's like a nerf that, like, pretty much buries him. But right now, like, watching the games, it doesn't feel like that.
All of BLG are going to be here. Does Zek have a way of getting out scot-free?
Who is the majority?
So they across the map a bit.
So now Reveal to get Okay, quite nice. So reveal over the top to get him on the angle. It's quite nice. So Bang gets onto the angle for free, and then they rotate to B. But this is the kind of bread and butter sunset that we see that, like, you know, all the American teams play, like NA plays this, and then Heretics was playing this quite a lot. Where like the whole idea is you get this line and you rotate. And you rotate like 4 here. But if you know that's happening, you can abuse that. And I'm not gonna go into too many details, but if you recognize this pattern is happening, it's exploitable.
Things down. A tad that dark cover on the right side. They would hope could maybe make someone on SEN think they want to push up mid, maybe go left. They do now break the tripwire. It was
Like if you're a smart person, you could pause the map here on the defense and then come up with things that would beat this.
there for the majority of the time. The dark cover was obscured on that right side. View Levius has taken B main away from Zek.
It wouldn't like 100% win, but it would give you an edge, I feel like.
He's looking for more. All of BLG are going to be here. Does Zek have a way of getting out scot-free? He wants to hang around, lingers for one, relay ball.
I do think Sen are playing good macro though, to be honest with you. They're playing better macro than most people would.
He's fortunate to get out. Fast lane deployed.
They are playing better than most.
Zek is out of dodge. But Billy want to keep the pressure on, boy. He just doubles back and says, you know, I think I'll take some more. And there's John, up to 8.
And I think that like the dynamic with this site now as well, like it feels more holdable because of this change. Like you have tiny choke point and then a jump up choke point, which makes Sen committing to the flood with that third person look a lot better. Whereas before it was more of a gamble, I feel like. Whereas now it does feel, it looks like it feels better. So I'm going to keep my eye out for that too. Before the backside felt a bit open and exposed. Whereas now it feels like a genuine spot that you could kind of, you know. I don't think I tried to hard hold this every single time. But it looks like a viable option. Thoughts on abusing top mid if they take A main? I think that that's a smart idea, yes. Who's your money on from MIBR versus Team Liquid? Ooh. MIBR? I think. MIBR looks really bad, but I think like I want Team Liquid to win, I think.
You guys want to join me or?
Oh, I'm up there. Don't worry, I'm on the board.
Beautiful.
With license to chirp at his teammates, having amassed kills funneled into the initiators early. Billy, though, do have Neff ready with an null command.
Now they're playing Sen. Sen are playing Retake A. Retake B kind of vibe. But let's see what happens here. So, Sen start with a middle outlaw. So I'm curious to see if they do just flood this back site and try to keep holding. Or if they use that breach shot. Like after what we saw last round and like what I was seeing here, I was just curious. So they do just play on this site every time, it looks like. I mean, Second's got an outlaw, so I guess that makes sense. But I'm gonna keep my eyes on this because this is really big.
Wants a bit of the action too. Nobody's come knocking. Have you heard the good word of our Lord and Savior, the SEN bundle, he says? Back away, still no foray off. TP onto the box and they cover this.
Nice.
Link was smoked up.
Getting very bored of this round, honestly. Okay, let's see the retake. 5v3, so it's not gonna need to be beautiful. I do like the breach for the aftershock here. The aftershock's really nice.
Okay, we have a plan. Second thinking about it, but that's awkward as the curtain drops. Celsius had his 6. Backing him up as Roshiro Knight caught out in the open. Levy is now at risk of being turned into Swiss cheese. Realizes he may as well wait to this bulldog to see what can be extracted. The answer is absolutely stone, nothing. Flawless rifle. So I guess a big question, what they've run their elbow, something
of control, add money. The watching across them was they run into that cypher well of he was playing B main on split versus Wolves, where he was playing equally as aggressive.
It's June, it's July, yeah, it's July. Omens always play A doing one-way smokes. Yeah, a lot of Omens play this one-way smoke idea. Yeah, I don't think it's necessary. I think there's ways to beat this, but lots of players are comfortable doing it at this point, so I think it makes sense. I guess.
Nice way to start the round for YZ. Do you think Coach Bale told him to do that in the timeout? Was that the strat call?
Was it that specific, I wonder? I'm not so sure, but that double stacked top mid percent is punished. And they've lost their fade util, so they really lack the mechanism with which to get this.
The real answer to that is I don't hate women. Women just don't like me. I think is the. I think that's the real way to flame me. It's not like it's not the hating women part. That's the real flame. You don't look a day past 26. Thank you. Thank you. I'll take it. Could they not like you because you hate them? That's pretty good. I guess that's pretty good. That's not bad.
Taking off the pressure after things went a little bit awry early, but Levius has gotten deep here. Trapwire cleared camera also out of the picture. He realizes there might be multiple guns waiting for him in Boba, and here comes the rolling thunder. Sen, watch the sight. There might be multiple guns.
Nice flood in. Why is there a neon player up elbow right now? Why? Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what BLG are doing.
30 seconds. It's going to tell them everything they need to know that the spike is en route to A.
Maybe hoping to get a bit more with that rolling thunder if Billy had already gone into the site, but they'll be content with just isolating another kill to extend the man advantage of this round. They certainly should expect that YZ could be postured in spawn right now. Russia call with the utility in hand.
Slip past YZ, he just wasn't ready for that. Russia had no
I'm a millionaire. I'm not a millionaire, bud.
Fast lane thrown up here, paranoia in effect, and YZ's going to wrap around, try and play from alley. Here with a fault line. Sen know where he's coming from no matter what, and Bang will simply try and defuse.
On a rotating spike off that A site. Or maybe just that lurk, if it is, you know, Levius maneuvering around mid late. That was well done from Sen. Billy, they are forced into this round. Rifles and Guardians, why is he going fast? Done from Sen. Billy, they are forced into this round. Rifles and Guardians.
What happened to Bang there? So he instant TPs across, which is kind of cool. But why is Bang looking weird here? Like, watch. Oh, he just why is he dashed to the right or something? That's kind of ridiculous. Look at that. That looks so stupid. So he dashed right here to the right. Crazy fast, man.
And here comes that null command now. Sen start to scramble on the site, and YZ will run them down.
Did he just try to shoot someone through the wall? Bro, his headshot. I'm so used to playing Quake where you like lightning gun people on the body. His headshot tracking is pretty good.
Sat behind YZ, giving him a safety net. And of all the players to do this to,
bro, that accent can pull. Bro, I live in the UK where everyone speaks like me.
Round pivots.
Man, oh man, what is that? Is it stutter step?
Yeah, he was the slide, but just hits the wall right next to him. It's very awkward for Bang to have to deal with that.
Someone like Narrate can't seize.
Is aiming the most important in the first phase of the round? It's a little bit overrated, but it's generally is, yeah. Okay, I'm just joking, chat. I can't be bothered.
Again, just accelerate, teleport, and the speed from the neon.
I'm not taking advice from Twitch chat because you guys are more losers than I am. Like at least I'm the one. I'm the one doing it. You guys are watching me, so it's like there's not a chance that I'm taking advice from you. Like you're in no position to criticize right now.
They're trying to overwhelm in Russia on the side, sees thrown out. Here's YZ, and there he goes.
That's the type of guy I go to Thailand from. This is. I don't think you know me very well. I don't think you know me very well.
The speed from the Neon to take this space with some haste.
This time.
So this time they Sen get a read that they can just kind of walk out middle because BLG just keep going A, which is really nice.
These retakes work with the breach. How's the timing looking for Bang?
Why has Bang got his knife out? I think they should at least keep someone back here, especially with the Cypher being dead. But this retake should be fine. I like this idea though. I was thinking about this the other day. It's planting here with some pressure here and players here. It's quite nice, to be honest. I think it's kind of cool.
Maybe YZ does.
They know he's there. Sent a ping in this alley area heavily. They're trying to overwhelm him. Russia on the side, sees thrown out. Here's YZ, and there he goes.
Oh, just too many players.
Sen playing around him. Really needed to overload him player-wise to win that out. Here comes the Hunter's Fury though from elbow. But Zekin's got near to the side. Knight, he's got to be under some pressure. Napier sat on the other side of the dark cover. Will spam if he needs to, but does he know where?
What do you think the most creative coach is in terms of strats util usage? Creative is the wrong word, I think. That like if you mean like ones that come up with like cool things to like combos and stuff, like Eng's team always come up with like new innovative micro. Generally though, Boaster is like but Boaster is probably the answer in terms of like that stuff though.
Bang out right into the line of fire.
Tink as well. Frustrating for him.
Now right here doesn't want
trench positions aside from Rushu's caught. They do have the cash though to keep on buying. They get the spike down. Keep it rolling. More attempts.
Oh, that was nice from Russia. Russia.
More attempts.
Look. He just... The one way doesn't get him on the reveal, so he's just able to play in front of it.
Slower stance over towards A, and it teases Bang out right into the line of fire.
Tink as well. Frustrating.
The one way actually entered them.
Now right here doesn't want to overextend, it's just him. Trapwire here at link can be played off if those reinforcements get there, but it's
my thoughts on Raze. I would play Raze versus Neon is more than acceptable. Like you can play Raze instead of Neon. It's not that big a difference. Euro is the best duelist in the game, and so that makes Jet not amazing in my opinion. Whereas like Raze versus Neon, I think is more comparable.
And it's on the Vibes Merchant himself. Celsius knows 3 players are looking for him. Levius will be the one credited with slimly.
Put on there, they're forced out into the open. Celsius gets the trade, but then look at this here. Rusha pushing on into that A link. They have a flank coming from top mid, so even if he goes down, given his low HP, should be an instant trade.
Going. Costly round for them, but they're still able to keep this money pressure on. Now, a bit of a variation. Looking towards mid, Wising's already started to slink his way up.
This time, I know it looks stupid, but Bang this time, you see? He doesn't immediately peek, jump spot, just in case. And then he gets the angle. Kind of funny.
Variation. Looking towards mid, Wising's already started to slink his way up, and wait a minute. Testing market very early. Relay bolt forces Zekin out into the open. There's a hit coming from B.
Once again, they're flooding into the backside.
Caught in the open.
Caught on the jump up. He had to retreat. He was stunned up. Teleport in now.
Oh, they get a smoke in front too. Bang puts a smoke in front of their smoke.
He was stunned up. Teleport in now from Rusha deep into the site.
Celsius now not quite aware of what's waiting for him on the other side of this dark cover. Has to pick his spot to perfection.
Oh, his gun barrel showing.
Can't see a damn thing, but still knows how to hit that M1 for the boys. And there's a triple swing. Sen have the players lined up. Neff and K9 fall by the wayside, and Narrate's gotten into Bova.
Awareness.
I think that smoke was not great from Bang. I think the smoke's good because the post plants. It is a good smoke. They played this wrong though. Zelsa shouldn't be in the smoke like this. He's playing too aggressively. Like my argument was starting to become that the smoke allows them to hold back site, which is good because the post plant then becomes, if Sen play it correctly, they got a post from here, which isn't as good anymore, and therefore like a decent situation for Sen. Obviously, I'm not taking into context like this stuff, but I was just thinking about smoking that stairs. I think the smoke on stairs is good. It's basically what I'm saying. Presuming that the retake is good enough against the offside post.
Now becomes a bit more uncomfortable. BLG loose footing here.
Do you think Euro is playable in Sunset?
Gonna try and sneak Rushia around. Does he have the look on Narrate? So aware Narrate was been but not ready for that.
Yes. Yes. I'm gonna say yes.
But doesn't know where to look.
Oh, that post plant is just so well played from BLG. They are everywhere.
The problem with Sunset is not a big operator map, so it's not as valid. Raze has a bunch of shit she can do with elevation on this map, and then the nade is quite good. Neon is fast, and fast is good on this map. So he's a bit more of a niche, but I don't hate the idea, I don't think.
Defense side for SEN has descended into an absolute bar fight. Another null command up for Neff. That was a big part of their fast A hit we saw a few rounds ago where Whitey had the overdrives.
Nivad, do you use your minimap? Does your minimap, is it a fixed minimap or not? I'm making this theory that you should play with fixed minimap because it's a lot easier to see what's happening on the map. For some reason, people disagree with me, but try fixed minimap if you don't use it.
As well. They are set up for something that looks reminiscent. This time Bang doesn't want any early action.
He wants to teleport away. He's been having a tough time with those early fights that Billy have been happy to take.
The double ups on mid are nice.
Caught completely unaware.
Bro, my belly's rumbling. I'm a hungry boy.
Spammed that area in a previous round and got a kill. SEN still trusting in that setup with their two initiators at the top of the map.
What about mini-map refragging? Where is this? To be completely honest with you, where have you guys heard about this mini-map refragging stuff? Is this been like a YouTube video someone's made or something? Who talks about this? Like, why is this something I've never heard of, but you noobs, you fucking noobs will know about it? Isn't it an intuitive idea? It's clearly not that intuitive if I've never heard of it. Why is it easier? There we go, Woohoojin. There we go, thank you. Thank you. So it's a concept that Woohoojin probably talked about. Why is it easier with not fixed minimap? You don't watch Woohoojin. Yes, but just because you don't watch Woohoojin doesn't mean that other people didn't start talking about minimap refragging as an idea and it didn't stem from that idea or a place. What is a minimap refragging? It means that, like, let's say I think what it means is, like, let's say you see someone dies here. Well, you see someone dies here and you're stood here. And you're smoked off or something. It's easier for you to, like, line up in the minimap. You use the minimap as a reference to shoot the person through the smoke. I'm actually really curious though. Like, I'm sorry to be boring. I'm really sorry to be boring. But I'm actually curious enough to open up my game and actually look at it. And I apologize if you're here to not watch me open up Valorant and look at minimap refragging, but you've titillated me. Alright, so I'll open that up and have a look.
Thrown over towards elbow. That's from Bang. So Wisely does feel a little uncomfortable pressing up. Look at this positioning. Double flash. Rusha wants to swing.
Nice. From BLG.
Right now.
Spammed that area in a previous round and got
BLG are playing this quite nicely. They play this really nicely. They put pressure on B. They come out A. Obviously, they died middle. Then this, like, double flash, KO flash, paranoia.
Look at this positioning.
Like,
Double flash. Rusha wants to swing.
it's all nice ideas. I mean, they kind of are fucked for their post plant now, but
This insert for Zelsis in mid. I'm pretty sure he hears Levy's there and even sees him. Doesn't want to commit. Here's
And they use KO.
I love this.
Oh, Levius is owns Zelsis.
I love this null command. I mean, Sen, they're obviously going to play this for full retake with the man advantage that they had, but it's just going to give so much delay. It's going to reduce the clock, but it's just...
John looked like he was trolling there. He looked like he's trolling Bang. You know when you like fuck with your teammate?
Here comes the neutral. Now the retake can come in.
Decken gets into the side immediately. Across the Sniffle with the Stingers able to fight him up close, but Wisey looking for the...
That fade reveal wasn't very good.
It's 2 with the Stinger for Decken. Now BLG down to just Levius. And he can't see this tap on the spike.
Bro, this is the power of Neon right there. Like Neon just disrupting the site like that. It's kind of nice. Right, how do I do my minimap thing? What do you think about Magnew kicked at BBL? I'm gonna get clip farmed. Is what I think. My instincts are that Power was doing a lot of the heavy lifting for that team. And I think that promoting Power's head coach looks like it made a lot of sense from the outside. He was talking a lot during the timeouts. He was talking a lot in general. The players were referencing Power a lot in terms of their success. It seemed like Power was doing a lot of the heavy lifting. Now, is that true? I don't know. You'd have to ask people. Not named me. Okay. I don't really see why it's that much easier to spray through a smoke. I guess I don't hate this on the minimap. I don't hate it. Centered on player 2. Centered on player, I hate it more. For some reason. Because you can't see half the fucking map. Centered on player is awful. Who checking the map while spraying through smoke? I mean, smart people. Yeah, imagine if you're playing, you would need to change your settings so that you can, like, I hope you change your settings so that you can see the map. Yeah, make the map a bit back. Yeah, I'm not going to change anything. I don't want to. I'm asking about the mini map. I think it makes sense, right? It does make sense to some degree. I don't think it's a big deal though. I think that wait, infrared mouse. Oh my god. Bro, playing with infrared mouse, we should do this as content. I just wouldn't move my mouse ever. Oh, actually, it's hard. God. Wait. Oh, shit. Oh, I just changed my minimap size by accident. What was it on? Did I change this number? Didn't I? Fuck. Okay, anyway. I don't care. I don't care. Who cares about Sentinels? Anyway, TLDR, I still think Vix is better.
Sentinels to pick up their economy would have been in a dire state for this final one.
Con Pecky says it too. Okay. But YouTube ranked content creators just steal off of each other. Like, I think that like Wuhujin and that lot are all like pretty good, genuinely. But there's only so much content you can make about ranked and ranked theories. That like, if an idea like that comes up in a YouTube meta of like Valorant, they're just gonna start we're talking about it, you know?
Been a little bit more careful
Because there's
about
more
those early
content to
picks.
talk about.
Let's get some info. Then
Thank you
Hawthorne
very
will
much,
have
Spice.
top mid this round for Sen because John is helping it A early.
Does this also apply to plat chat? Give me an example. Yes, kind of, I guess. But no at the same time, because plat chat is always talking about relevant news. Valorant rank strategy doesn't change that much.
They know this is coming, White. They know they can rotate early through.
So they're always trying to find little ways to get people to, like, you know, think about the game differently. And sometimes it's not going to be like, honestly, some of the rank content is dreadful. Like, it's not good because, like, they're just trying to say stuff for the sake of saying stuff. Whereas, like, the people who come to my chat asking about ranked stuff, I'm like brutally honest about it. Like, I cannot help you. You are shit. I'm not going to be able to solve your issues by answering the question, how do I get up to Immortal from SEN? Like, it's not a thing.
Flash himself on the angle. Wisey tries to turn it. No swing just yet. Takes two, tries it again. This time, forced up. Determined.
Okay, right, lock in. Lock in.
This was sickening. And obviously as a breach too, you're making...
Oh my god, this econ report was off the charts, guys.
Sentinels the course of this series.
The econ report is off the chart.
Second with an armor and a frenzy.
Oh, it's a nice knife.
Second with
Hits 3.
armor and a frenzy, making him the raid boss.
Oh, recon, Urban one way. Urban gets the line, rotate towards middle. There's 2 middle, 2B. BLG doing quite well this round.
Hold down mouse 1.
Little jiggles there from Russia, sees enough.
And then a little bit of reclear from Sen. Sen reclearing 1 minute 15. Very nice. Not fully committing, leaving Celsius, and then they go B split.
To catch a player pushing up. This might be an anti-YZ play, and he's backed around the corner. Sen don't get the kill. The one with the armor.
And now they're faking. Like, this is really nice from Sentinels. Let's be real. Okay, so they set up in a way that looks like they're B splitting, and then realize that I think they got a cancel. So they go reclear A. They get the guy off the line. So they go into a B split with the idea of being able to cancel the B split here. They get caught too early on B main, and so what they do is they push this player off. And now, in their heads, BLG's head says people here. But then these 2 players rotate off, and these 2 players continue to make it feel like a B split. And it makes it even more feel like a B split, because there's now a different angle they're coming from. And it's all just an A ruse. Like, this is very, very nice mid-rounding.
Don't get the kill off this. That is the side box.
They're going to pivot away back towards mid, just under a minute now on the clock.
Like, genuinely, Sen look very smooth.
Down to 13.
I mean, they died, but the ideas were there. And then a nice push through. They're 4v5, so they need to make a play. They make a play through the smoke. Like, Sen on this map, if Sen played every map like this, they could win this event. But the problem is, they don't right now.
Zekin and Zelsis both low. But still in the game. Still paranoia there. Flash util also disrupting BLG as they try and set up from Link. They're going to push the site now. Through the smoke. Bang, tucked in the corner. Everybody comes to him. Served up on the silver platter. Bang and boom. Sen get themselves a pistol.
First one in the series to extend the lead. Bang comes to life there. It's been a little quiet for him so far, but he absolutely makes his presence known, capitalizes off the attention that was being paid for his teammates while that retake was coming in.
So I fuck with the hockey jersey? Yeah, it's cool. I think that there needs to be I was thinking about the other day, like, when I think of, like, you know, because it is Canada, therefore hockey jersey, and I was like, isn't it just all this, like, I'm a bit critical sometimes of just the lazy stereotyping and, like, generic kind of, like, hey, we go to this country, therefore this stereotype exists. But then I think what outweighs that is just cool, you know, if it's cool, who cares? And the hockey jersey is kind of cool. So it just trumps any kind of like generic lameness about just like, you know, Canada equals hockey.
That flash just an inch away.
Most jerseys are also not, yeah, most jerseys are not that great. I think that a lot of things in esports, sorry to pause and go on a rant. A lot of things in esports, we just look at traditional sports and copy them. And so like the jerseys have no real reason to look like the way they do. And so they could do anything with the jersey. Like I don't think we take enough risks when it comes to anything gaming related. And it's nice to see teams actually take some risks.
On this round too, Zekken has that Phantom already moving forward, so they can get a nice investment, some nice tier weaponry on their bonus round coming up next.
The Lilac Fanatic one was something that they had in the works apparently for years and abandoned, and then just because we made it to Tokyo, they were like last second like, well, maybe we should use this. Like I'm telling you, orgs are not like orgs can be kind of bureaucratic about some of these decisions. In a way that's like, if they just trusted and had a good vision for what was cool, they would make more money. I always thought for Fnatic they needed a creative director and someone who knew what cool was. I don't think their design process was like particularly amazing. Like I'm not flaming the designers, but it's like they just needed, like if they had someone in charge of cool. Obviously not me, because I'm using the word cool, so. PaperX designer? Yeah, PaperX designer, yeah, she seems really good. And PaperX are a bit more cheeky with their brand, I feel like. You know? They've always like the whole philosophy from PaperX at the start was like they kind of slightly cooler jerseys, you know, like the slightly weirder stuff. So they've always had the option to be a bit more experimental about things.
Defensively, hoping for a timing to catch SEN on the wrong foot.
They feel a bit less bureaucratic about those decisions.
A warning shot there. Nothing that he'd write home about.
Fennel's where it's at, that's true. Have you guys seen this shit? I'm sorry to bore you all. Fennel clothing, esports. The Japanese brands, it's ludicrous. This looks a bit lame right now, but I remember it looking really good. This stuff, ignore it. This isn't the stuff. Where is it all? Where are all the products, man? I thought they had shit. I mean, it doesn't look bad, but like they used to have loads of good stuff. This is all just pretty. Like this is okay, but this isn't what I remember. This isn't what I remember at all.
That dark cover thrown mid really has
like the Japanese orgs I think are ahead. This looks pretty generic. Yeah, I mean, okay. It was good generic, but I'm telling you, in the past, if you go to like, if you're somehow able to like go to last year and look at their stuff, it was ludicrously good.
This drone could be dangerous. It's broken.
Zeta ones were cool too. Who was it, man? Was it Fennel? Because that's not what they've changed their website. No, it's not Zeta. Zeta, no, it's not Zeta. There was a Japanese org that Fennel. Maybe they gave up. Maybe they weren't making enough money off of it. But they legit had like it was almost it felt like a fashion brand rather than an actual esports brand. Like I know that people call 100 Thieves like a t-shirt company or something, but they made 100 Thieves look like very basic. It was Fennel, yeah, okay. It was Fennel, guys. You have to just trust me that they used to have very, very like interesting stuff. It's alright, let me watch the run. So they get a main control and leave it.
Nothing that he'd write home about.
Send pressure market and then use that timing to prod A, but they get re-smoked off, so don't want to go through it. I don't know what they're doing now. Now they're actually going through the one way, making noise. And off the timing, catch lurk timing on top mid. That's quite nice. So like their push pull, right? Like the only thing I don't like is that they have left a massive gap in B main. But they're using this pressure to create a timing for them to get a pick middle, which is quite nice. Yeah, some of the 100 Thief stuff is good. But like, it's not on the same level as Fennel. And this stuff, even the stuff you're linking there, is not what I'm thinking of. Like, this stuff looks okay, but it just looks like Fennel. Proof. This was like, this is just, yeah, some of it, like, and it's not, I don't think it's even the best representation either. But they had like 200 pieces of clothing that were on their site that looked more like real clothing than esports clothing, you mean. Me personally, I don't think this looks the coolest. But it's just a small example, I guess, of what they are capable of doing. Looks complete garbage. Yeah, it doesn't look amazing to me. But if I told you there was like a lot, you know, if there was like 200 examples of that, where like some of them look really cool. Yeah.
That kill, that's the one that might break the back of BLG in this round, in this map even. It's like a fault line connected onto K9 in Link. So send our Noahs. Levy is something more.
Control. This lead feels insurmountable for Billy.
And look at Sen.
Yeah, Sen just are good at this map. It's basically how it goes. The teams will just ban this map against them. If any team has a 7 map pool, they ban this map against them.
Rushia there. That really is pretty painful for the judge player who does not want to have his cover blown so early. And sorry, Zelsa just blew up your spot.
Oh, and now they know he's tucked in the corner. Here's the paranoia. He's stuck. He's cooked. He's cooked.
He was trying too hard. I'm sorry, but this round's GG. What makes Sen so good at Sunset? They are capable of doing things on the map that push and pull rotations that they're not comfortable as much doing on other maps. And they have very good structure and a system around it all. Like, they're not doing anything egregious with their macro that means that they're just going to instant lose. And then also, they're like the protocols and systems they have make sense. Like, both macro and micro. Like, even just something as simple as like Bang playing here and knowing how to react to a fast neon. And like, the layers there. But then on their attack side, we saw already, like, they know how to re-clear A, and they know how to manipulate rotations from this position. They also have protocols around how to hold the backside of B, which looks like a new kind of maybe meta approach to this map. And they have good standard rotations.
Unless Billy can convert this round with the economy on the line.
I feel like I've heard that quite a lot.
Any reason why Viper fell off on Sunset? Because people were using awful Viper tech and couldn't figure out how to make it work. The valid reason is partly because of Sky. Again, people, it's not this map specifically, but Sky meant Viper was playable with compositions that have smoke, Viper, smoke, Senti. Sky made it possible, so then Sky got nerfed, so this becomes not a thing. But nowadays, you do the 2.0 version where you just play Euro and a Recon. So I think Viper's harder now because you're almost either forced to play Euro or accept that you don't have a big flash. Sorry, smaller flashes. You'll have Omen flashes, I guess. But on this map, it feels a bit weird to play without, you know, K or breach flashes, I guess. Like an actual other flash. So maybe I'm talking myself out of playing Viper on this map. But we saw Gen G play Viper on this map without the small flashes, I believe. Yeah, they played Neon, right? What kind of buff will help Sky? I don't know. To be honest, I don't know.
The Neon's existence that hasn't really come into play yet, however.
But obviously, Sunset was changed so that that trip is not unbreakable anymore, but that was a factor of champs last year, so these teams have long since adapted to the changes that Sunset brought way back then.
Rusha is holding a devious...
Why are flashes so important here? I don't think they're like the most important thing, but just in general, playing without some form of flash to go through smokes or XX sites is generally not the best idea. And I think this map is a map that probably needs some flashes.
So going to punish the little tight swing. So no.
Do you think Fade is better than Sova on Sunset? That's a good question. I generally prefer Sova on maps, but now that Fade's become more popular on Pro, I'm doubting myself. So I think for me it's like 50-50 on this map. I still have a little bit of an affinity for Sova on Pro though. But I understand the reasons why not. Like Pearl on these maps you can do a lot of the re-clears with one Prowler. And then you still have Prowler for like the next phase.
Oh my god, this timing is just... Bro, I can't... Alright, I mean, sure, that was... 0.33 seconds! There are 15 seconds left. John is taking the spike all the way through spawn. Can he get... Oh, okay. Spike all the way through spawn. Can he get... Oh, okay. Rushi sees this. He knows that he's getting ahead of this. Oh my god, this timing is... And he was forced in,
and it could be the last of the map.
They are getting dominated right now.
I didn't see any of the flashes, to be honest with you.
Have this map at the top of their...
This is the problem. I'm looking here. I didn't see any of his flashes.
That is going to make them so dangerous. They've replaced Fracture, which they didn't like, with one of their home maps. John opening things up all, which they didn't like, with one of their home maps. John opening things up already, collecting a kill top mid. I think Nef
okay, this is
out by that dark smoke.
Yeah. Rushi, I think the Guardian in hand. Has always opted for this one. The money's been there. Just saw how deadly he is with a single shot. Now excelling this.
See, like just like Sova cannot really do this effectively, right? What Narrate just did, like to Sova drone this is kind of a big deal. So this is the argument for Fade. Is like one Prowler still has a bunch of Uto left, and I got very good information. And now, like if he does want a Prowler into this space, he's got one. I mean, they're accelerating quicker than him, but the point stands.
Levius not in a position to play off of it. And now SEN simmer. As things start to come to a boil, let's swing at this smoke now. See Zek can break the crosshair placement and deal with Levius.
Both teams have different initiatives. Does that make a big difference on the approach? Honestly, most teams end up playing a lot of the same stuff on this map, it feels like. But yes, it does. Like the breach plays differently than the KO. The breach needs to be ready to stun. You're trapping more, you're stunning more. But honestly, most teams just end up using their stuff to just take this and then rotate away and play 4 with someone here. And so they just do it the same, but just different util, basically. But
Sentinels are far from done. Playoffs back into one of these teams, and they're leaving it all out there.
okie dokie. Right, last map. I can watch some of this, but I'm getting hungry, to be honest with you. So I need to go soon. So I can speed run some of this. Is there anything more interesting on this? Like, should I watch one half, maybe? And then I think I'll watch one half. Opinions on Paper X for Gen G yesterday. I cannot give my honest opinions because it will give away information. On a SEN, some basics, some almost the things that need to be fixed for a SEN defense are quite basic things. But because they're quite basic, I'm worried that just I'm not sure if to be more or less worried because they are basic things. If that makes sense. Is it easier to fix something that's basic or not? Like the argument for yes is that like it should be easier to, but the argument for no is that, well, if we've got to this point and it's like we're not doing that thing, then it might be more hard because we've not understood it yet or something. Icebox, it was just at class. It was just at class, to be honest. Like, there are definitely things on Icebox to fix, but it was a bit of an outclassing, wasn't it? To be honest. So yeah. They didn't know how to play defense. So do you think it's better to watch BLG on attack or BLG on defense? I guess I could try and flick through all of it. It's just I'm really hungry.
Sentinels played a lovely defensive side against
Zeus is playing with okay.
Typically,
so SEN its defense Lotus Pistol was difficult. It's really difficult because you don't have enough util to like take control and then also play retake because you don't have the money to buy all your util. And then three sites to choose from. If they just choose the right one, they win. Basically, it feels like a lot of the time. Zeus is playing Flash, Thorns, Orb. I quite like it.
the somewhat less favored side, especially when we're going back to this kind of old Lotus look that's just integrating Vice, who's been unbelievably powerful as a mainstay Sentinel on this map. I like that Billy have gone for this. I think it's a great comp right now, and it's always fun.
I'm already concerned that this one way is enough for this team to just run away, but that should be, you know, I know they win, so. Seeds nade trap.
On the corner. Zekin plays off of it stunningly. That's Knight down. Sees to follow up with the nade. Already though, BLG have pulled the plug on that big foray into tree though. Next to follow up with the nade. Already
Opening the tree door in the mid round is kind of mental. It's kind of mental.
Sees to follow up with the nade. Already though, BLG have pulled the plug.
Not just one player, two. This shear is about to be activated. Double push past it. They want the
Vice on A is interesting. When you have Viper, the Viper orb on C is really strong. You got the Thorns on C already. Having the Wolf at A is kind of interesting. If you're playing against a comp that can't win the rubble fight, that is going to beat you on the rubble fight every time, then maybe this is a nice idea to like accept that you're not going to win the rubble fight and then play the Vice slightly differently, maybe. Second pistol coach cams are good. Well, my predictions for today, my predictions is 2 teams lose and 2 teams win. That's my predictions. I think 2 of the teams are gonna win. 2 of them are gonna lose.
And they're trying to chase Billy off this mount position, and Zekin's inching forward. Here comes a hit.
And I'll be disappointed with all of them.
Here comes a hit. Razorvine comes out, gonna be inching forward. Here comes a hit. Razorvine comes out, gonna be avoided by YZ.
Jesus Christ. The nade killed him. He's naded himself. Bro, he's died to his own nade.
what is this? Dominating. What is that? On the B side. Utter pandemonium. And Zelsis here, of course, is a beat behind the action. Russia makes the turn, sees him come.
Even at that, he gets the dig onto him, double face. Zelsis, there's no hope.
Okay, well, welcome to the show. Everything's made up. The points don't matter. It's a MasterCard Thrifty in the second round for Billy Billy. Bizarre.
Someone said, YZ, nade yourself. He just jumps into it in the corner.
Wait, 1 sec.
What is happening? How are they able to convert this? The shots from Levius were
For my next trick, I'll
disgusting.
catch my own nade.
Look at this from Zekin. He saddles out in 1 tap. Narrate can't trade. I think he had a bulldog. He can't see back. This is ridiculous. I mean, listen, you're hoping when you're a Sentinel, you play B. Maybe you cut off a rotate. You get someone maneuvering towards C. You're usually not getting 3 with the ghost on your eco.
The third while you are blinded, by the way. Well, that didn't make a lot of sense, but that's fine.
Oh my god. All right, Zelsis is alone towards A right now. Playing in the dark cover, hoping someone may take a little stroll into it, but that's not going to be the case. YZ timings it though.
Sorry guys, I just had a message.
Got John's weapon from the previous round, and he's decently set up for this. Razor Vine's going to slow him up. Rochia, though, not so fetid. He's able to push ahead. Make short work here of Sentinels into the grind. They've become mulch here on Lotus.
Well, they were stacked up on the proper side.
Very sorry, very sorry, very sorry. Very, very sorry. Right, so on that, so did they force buy the judge there? No. BLG won this classic round.
What about YZ? John
How did...
Rushia's able to deal with him with that
Oh my god,
classic
Zekin's just inting.
close enough. John
Zekin Gaming.
deal with him with that classic, and Levius has got them sharp.
Oh my god, kind of Levius, man.
This dominating.
Bro, this guy just needs a ghost, apparently. That is kind of disgusting. I remember that period when Nats would just buy the ghost on the eco rounds. And he looked like that. Okay, classic round, surely. Yeah, classics. Okay. Now a Vice Omen setup. So the Vice playing here literally just because of the flash support. And then Viper's this side of the map because we don't need the Viper on this side of the map. And then they're playing like they're heavy B. They're very heavy B against BLG. I wonder if this is just because BLG like B. To me, like, I'd be more concerned with A. Like, I'd prefer to have like something happening A with like 3 players around these kind of spaces. Yeah, when you watch Fnatic play, you can see there's a very much like there's like a crossfire happening with like the Odin in here. There's like people ready here. Sometimes there's 2 people here. Whereas like SEN are conceding A quite heavy. Like heavier than like even Fnatic. So I wonder if this is a problem. Is that they don't play this area correctly, maybe. They do have this idea with the flash though, so they're gonna fight for mount. I'm just a bit concerned with this B. I don't know what this is doing.
Until he doesn't. Paranoia comes in, forces him out, he's able to TP away.
I forced that quite quickly.
Get up onto the side.
How do BLG deal with this Vice wall? Because this Vice wall is kind of annoying.
So no real pressure further applied to Bang when they know he's been routed into Bend.
Not ready yet. Good
Flash
hit.
from Levius is going to get the information that Zekin has pushed up towards B main. Someone is playing close. In the meantime, you have Neff taking a lot of space towards A. You know, already you're seeing
What team plays the cleanest Valorant?
from BLG
Uh,
compared to Wolves, where Neff is able to take a
I
lot
don't
of
know
space.
how to answer that question.
Really able to do that. The
Depends what you mean by clean.
B is the look. Why is he? No blast packs here. So no fast hit. Behind the Prowler though, plenty of neutral left for K9.
Generally like
Trying to play his life as well as he can here
the
through
2.0 Korean style of Valorant is clean. It's a clean style.
Make a nade here. Response of
It doesn't mean that it's always strategically the best, but it is it is strategic and it is clean.
BLG can't take
I'd say G2 is the cleanest strategically, but then there are lots of rounds where Julgamo is kind of
so much utility on them right now.
it looks a bit messy because the way Julg's used as an entry.
Narrate found double. Levy's
I think that I do think it is something that isn't always a positive. There are times where Jug is just kind of going in. And people are hesitant to make that criticism because it's G2 and the aura around them as a team. But I think I'm in a position where I'm allowed to. So I think that there's times where it does feel like it might be, I don't know if it's him individually. It looks individual a lot of the time, where like it's a little bit too aggressive, a little bit too solo. There are times though where it works beautifully. You feel they brought Jewel for that reason, though? Yeah, but there's a fine line. There's a fine line between someone who literally goes in and someone who goes into their death. I don't think that it's. I don't fully agree with this idea that you should just be going in like a mentalist every time. But I do agree with the fact that you should be going in a lot of the time as the entry and making space. But there are times where I would point out examples where it's not good. It's a difference in. I agree. I probably agree with your sentiment, but I would be able to find examples where I think that it's not done the best. They don't. It's not that they set up Joke. I don't think they set up Joke to die. No, I don't think it's that at all. There are times in which I think that maybe the support could be slightly better, but I think it's mostly about Joke's decision to go in and make the space. I think is sometimes a bit too aggressive. Like his job on the team is not just to make space. And like sometimes going in and dying isn't making space. Like I would point to, you know, maybe like I would point to Durka as historically a player that is making space in that way, but also isn't just like, you know, every duelist is prone to inting sometimes, but I would say that he didn't. He would have less times where it looked bad.
That tree position with the Guardian. Eventually, I'm sure he's going to try to pick up the Odin as well. What can BLG do here? SEN are more than content to just.
Did I do the G2 T1 VOD? No, not yet. No.
Go for the retake when they need to.
I would do that. I want to do that VOD at some point. I kind of want it to be YouTube content a little bit, but I'm a pussy with YouTube right now. So both teams don't have particularly amazing Rubble fights. They do have Omen, Fade, and Raze, but it's not quite Breach Tail anymore. So it's a very different context. Both teams are able to win the Rubble fights, though. It just depends who has the better read and micro in the situation. So, for instance, Sen have to read this round that, you know, the Omen's going to TP here. If the nade was actually microed better, i.e. it landed in the right spot, Rusha's probably dead. And then BLG get unlucky a little bit. Like, it comes down to these very fine... Like, the Rubble fights with these comps come down to very fine little things. Honestly, some of the least fun of me coaching Valorant is this Rubble fight. Like, it ended up just being a lot of the time, I would just ask how... Like, because I'm not particularly like a micro kind of coach. And so I'd end up a lot of the time just being like, can we figure out why we're winning or losing this Rubble fight? Like... Because there's like so many different variations of util you can use. Why did Vitality look so bad stage 1? I'd prefer not to answer that right now in the middle of this VOD review. But
nice and slow. Go for the retake when they need to.
Second sees is coming. K9 attempts a wide swing with second. Keep comfortable. Down to 16 health. This is already that steel guard. That spike is dropped just outside baby door. It's going to be a very difficult recovery mission.
On this round, looks like Destined to come to a slow crumble for BLG, who will have enough to continue the pressure, buying up on the next.
okay, round over.
That one battle, if you're a Billy player, you could be getting.
Just Sun looking okay right now. But they like lose most of the rest of the rounds, right?
They are often just in tandem
So so one thing that's nice here is you know, BLG recognizing that Sen's A fight isn't going to be amazing, so they can keep pressuring it and then leave a player, which is quite nice. I don't think they need 5 players to do this idea, but it is what it is. And then what did Sen start the round with? Sen started the round with some weird C stack. Weird C stack. I guess expecting Wisey to take the ult, maybe? And then maybe a Vice ult, and then maybe Zekin's going to respond with ulting back. Maybe that was their idea. But you see that because they've lost this, they rotate this way, and then they rotate that way. So they're like, BLG are like setting the pace, I guess, is how you would describe it. As soon as Zelsa sees people here, they'll just rotate back. Well, they don't rotate back. Instead, they're going to re-clear out rubble. What did they do after this rubble re-clear? I wonder if they actually do something cool, or if they're just going to be boring. They'll probably just be boring and rotate back this way. I imagine this team's going to use their ults now, and then Sen just play retake with their ults.
Billy have decided just to make their way towards this C side. It's just going to be the Vice and Util occupying that side. Zelsis, as a result, playing safely here. Some have gone for a full recoil through rubble in the meantime.
Bro, so slow. Zelsis does well to get 1-for-1 there. I'll be honest. I think it's okay. I think it's okay. He didn't necessarily need to tank the ult to like. It could be a 5v5 right now too. Fade Flood. Vice ult used in post. This is nice theory. This is really nice. So when you have lots of different ults available, you have to like figure out what's the best combination. And to me, Raze ult into Vice ult post is probably the best. I think I prefer that rather than Vice ult into Raze ult post. Because I think the Raze ult is just a direct exec tool. You send your duelist in, you probably win the exec. And then you can time this quite nicely to like get as much space as possible. Whereas the Raze ult, you can't guarantee that you're going to be able to get Raze ult value in the post plant. Whereas the Vice ult is kind of guaranteed value in the post plant. So I think that combination from BLG makes sense. That layering of the ults. It's something that teams are quite bad at. It's like understanding the layering and like which ults to use which first or second. Jesus. That was unlucky from John. Nice try. Ultimately though, Billy did have to use the big ults, but so Sen can't really complain about losing that round. I'm not going to do a paper Rex VOD review now. I can maybe after the event, I'd be happy to go back and do it, but during the event, I think it's unfair. As a coach, what was your favorite map to prepare with a team? Do you mean like to do strats with, or do you mean to like anti-strat? I don't think I have a favorite map, to be honest. Like the maps that I'm strongest at, I think I like doing, like working with the most. Oh, anti-strat. Lotus, because 99% of teams used to play the same Lotus, style every single time. And there was like a few very obvious reads that you could get on a lot of teams and make it very easy to beat them. So Lotus was quite fun. Haven, Binder, Split are all maps that I feel like I'm very strong at. I Fracture too. So like I think all those maps I would be quite comfortable in doing. And enjoy doing. Wait, so BLG just went B. So they go front B because the Viper ult C. They re-clear out A by just running through a smoke and killing Zekin. Traded. So then pressure A. So B's open. I like this. I like this. You TP in, like as a nice counter to the Vice wall. You have someone able to swing this side, and then people swing this side, so you kind of create like a weird crossfire. Or weird like trading double swing, I guess is the... I mean, for some reason they didn't actually double swing. And YZ's jumped over with an operator and killed them. Sen trying to flood there seems like a bit of a mistake. Why are they trying to flood when they have a Vice ult? I think Zelsis plays this bad. So he gets that kill. Now Zelsis should just be chilling. He should almost be ready. He should be ulting right now, honestly. He should be ulting. If he knows Rusha's in here, he just ults. And he wins the round. A little bit greedy. But like, honestly, like I think that's a pretty common mistake. It's not like that uncommon for a player to make that mistake. But I think on reflection, he'd probably agree that he should just ult there.
Certainly cannot blame him. That was a round of the utmost importance.
What's he saying?
For the half.
Captain said it. Too little, too late. Now though, these teams have much more of a feel for one another.
Seeing a bit finny. Fishy. Seeing a bit fishy, sorry. He's probably talking about the player running through a smoke. Running through the Viper wall and just killing Zekken. That's probably the kind of reaction that deserves that. Omen ult B. Why is he again? Again, we're flooding in when we have Vice ult to retake B. Retake B is not the hardest thing in the world. Defense on this map is already hard enough as it is. It doesn't. The odds don't change that much when the spike goes down on B. They're not playing for that outs with the Vice ult. Like right now, all 5 people could be Vice ulted. Yeah.
This is definitely an inflection point in the first half, round 9. See Sentinels finally get some attack peaks under their belts.
So after all that B pressure, Sen putting 2 people front B, but YZ is there with an operator. I don't think that that player should be peeking first. We'll just let the operator play, surely. Or Prowler for him. Prowler into the operator. Feels weird, someone swinging for an operator to peek.
Trades in this half just like that.
Now A is completely open. Yeah, this is they flood in with this Viper Orb. So Viper Orb's up, so they flood in. But it's not the prettiest of holds. The rate's really good on that angle. I feel like I've seen him do that before. Nice by Bang.
In order to have a player posted forward to get an easy kill. Now the momentum.
Nice Vice Flash from Zelsis to confirm that there's people mound. Should be an easy round though for Sen now. Unless YZ has something to say about it.
Bang wanted to check the side. It's unclear if we got any information about where YZ is set up.
Oh my god, BLG are playing this really well. Yeah.
Able to spray 2 of them down. Narrate has to challenge YZ here. Blast pack to try and disrupt. Shorty in hand. He knows exactly where he's.
Oh my god.
Bang wanted to
YZ played like BLG played this phenomenal, to be honest with you. Again, the only small mistake you could really isolate here is Zelsis. Like, it's unreasonable to kind of... I'd feel bad as a coach to highlight this as a mistake, because it's not really a mistake, is it? Like, it is a mistake, but it's not. It's not really. Like, the better play here is to be jump spotting this corner, but it's, like, so disciplined that, like, it's probably fine what he's doing. I think the real problem with Sen this round, honestly, is again they're overcommitting the B side. Like I would prefer them to be ready to just do the kind of fights over here. I don't hate this idea. But then they're like giving up a rubble and not really like fighting for anything rubble side. They're not like ready on A to do anything. So they're like overemphasizing like BC. And then when they do come back to A, they're not holding from like these positions. They're like flooding in from this position. I think this is a bigger mistake. John is the agent. Isn't it better to always play retake on B? You don't want to be so obvious, but like I would say yes a lot of the time. Again, like it 4 BC again. And so like again, by the time that they control tree and probably Hobbit if they wanted it, that's when they have 3 here. Whereas I'd prefer there to be a 3 behind this line. Use the fucking Viper Wall. Like they're not using the Viper Wall essentially. This Viper Wall is borderline pointless for SEN. They might as well Viper Wall like this or something. Like some weird wall. Because they're not even holding the Viper Wall or doing anything with it. I mean, I guess it's fine if your backside hold is this good. But I don't think this is consistent. Okay, did they win another 2v5? Okay.
Speculated Wyatt. And yeah, early looks at 8. Narrate has come back.
Okay, so now they actually try to get close to rubble control. And then second on the operator line here. This is a nice mix-up.
Wants to wait for this dark cover to fall, hoping that someone is going to go for the common jump peek, and it does happen, but Narrate was not too overexposed.
I feel like retake A and C is a little bit more clunky because C and A lobby plays. I don't know what you mean what by C and A lobby players.
This way push off of the C side, and that's actually where Zek is set up. He does want to try and put himself where the action is. But whether that means he actually push off and see in the direction of the attack is remains uncertain. There's rubble presence throughout the Odin. All the util coming out from banging Narrate here have definitely slowed BLG up. So why is he opts to try and hold a B line? Still guarded.
Get that C side free. Just try and actually pull back in.
Why is he again with the op? Bro, SEN have not given BLG any reasons to not end B, which is crazy because that's not the site you should be saying that about. How many times has SEN players died here now? Isn't that the 3rd time in a row on a BXX? It's crazy. I know that the operator there is unexpected, but it's still a point.
Sentinels don't really follow up on the nightfall instantly. Simply choose to get in position.
Yeah, cut off by some of those mollies.
That's it. If that nade was better, man, that's... Okay, there we go. Oh my god, why is he's hit that? Okay, to give Sen some credit here, YZ is just shitting on them. Like I can't be too critical. YZ is literally shitting on them. I do think there's stuff that Sen could be doing better here, but YZ is literally shitting on them. Check artist stream. What is this? What is it? I'm so curious. Is artist streaming right now, or are you just a bunch of morons?
Gonna feel uncomfortable for Sentinels, but it is enough.
YZ now just one orb away from getting the showstopper.
He's announced his new team. Can a mod tell me what that was? What is being linked that I'm not clicking on?
He has thrown the stick in the smoke, so they've gone over the handlebars.
Damn, that player genuinely looked angry.
Do organist chat, bro. Okay. Is it just some like AI thing? That's a joke? I don't get it. I don't get the troll, to be honest with you. Can someone just explain to me what's going on? Instead of bro, I'm not going to Artis's stream. Like I don't care that much. You just explain to me what's happening if you're gonna troll me.
He can just send it, distract while everyone else will collapse onto him. They have plenty of options here.
Bang there's having to deal with him in the end. So all things considered, inclination. Look like it's been quite the series so far, and it promises to be an exploit this match.
Okay, right. So something Sen can improve on in defense, but ultimately they got shut by YZ, as I said before. I wish I could just do that on the analyst desk, just be like, oh yeah, this is why Sen weren't playing amazing, but then why is he just shit on them? Literally took down his pants and just shit on them. That'd be quite fun.
These two players bang and Zekin could be in real danger. Here it comes.
Like the trap though, come down by Zekin, who didn't think there'd be a follow-up, and Livius is there.
Click this link. I mean, bro, I've clicked the link. I'm not watching a video. Like, explain to me who Artis is playing in a team with and why is he playing at Epic LAN. Like, please.
Pivoting towards this A side where BLG have drifted. They are in the right pen. So
capitalize on that distribution of defenders. Let's get rolling, folks. He's around number 13. Sentinels on the attack.
Balls over the top for this duo of Sen to work for.
Okay, so Sen doing a good job. Again, like, defense, especially on pistol with this comp, they're not going to be able to take rubble control without fully committing. So if they do commit for rubble control, it's obvious that there's probably a lot of people there. And so this side of the map's weak, which is where they probably end up going. So Sen just like spreading the map and then just walking out A because there's no noise, which is nice from Sen. Like if Sen don't see raise nades, sees etc., like they can just walk out A. So this is good by Sen. What I don't like though is this part here where a very common idea on this map is to run traps around this area. Maybe not with this comp so much, but it's pretty common. So these two are being a little bit too aggressive. Like, these two can open the door and start prodding A a little bit and feeling out A. These two cannot feel out C right now because it's so obvious that they could be getting trapped. Or there could be a stack. It's true that there could be a trap or a stack on A, but it's much less likely to be a good trap on A, and the stack wouldn't really matter as long as they see people. Okay, Zekin gets away with murder. Have I enjoyed my time on the VCT desk? It's decent, yeah. I'm not very good at it yet though. I'm excited to get good. But yeah, I think I have to improve. Because I think I'll enjoy it more when I'm not shit, basically.
Here comes that attack side Viper ball now. It's a little bit annoying. YZ can't see past it. K-Knight might need to be activated to disrupt a potential plant. So the paint shells had the intended effect. Some players getting weak. K-Knight flag! Right-click City!
Last player standing.
And they are both very low, below 60.
30 seconds
Sells
left.
him with the sheriff, but K-Knight thought he had him.
It's nice from Celsius.
Daddy is home.
Is stacking extra good on pistols? Yes. Yes. I'm waiting for the coach cam. I am waiting for the coach cam.
He is getting serious. This is not funny whimsical Celsius. He is here to win. He is hungry, especially for this team. After that disappointing finish that they had at the first international this year in Bangkok. They want to come back and show exactly what they're made of. Why are you going here? Why are you going here? What the
YZ can't see past the K-Knight, might need to be
I'm trying to think what he would be annoyed by.
So the paint shells. Drop.
At the moment, giving up C. Neff weak though. Backside.
This is very bad.
Anchor against the Horde.
Pretty quick moves though from Sentinels up onto the A side. No upper
Neff was poor here, but it's not like not many coaches would actually be annoyed by that. I don't think. I'm trying to think what is he annoyed by.
So the paint shells had the intended effect.
Some players getting weak.
K9 flag. Right click City.
Last player
And
standing.
they are both very low, below 60.
30 seconds
Sells
left.
them with the sheriff.
It can't be this either. I guess it's Neff.
First half, he to win.
It's an A side that is
I guess it's Neff.
pistols here for Sentinels on this map.
Like a good team would play retake. And yeah, it's good to stack on pistols because the way I kind of think about it is that on attack side pistols, it's good to go as like a group, right? It's good to go as like a pack like this. Because you get to use like I don't know how to explain it. It's like the defense can't mow you down with spraying their gun, and so it's like good to just like group up and just like jump around and kill people. And so on attack, it's like good to do that, and because it's good to do that, it means it's good to do it on defense because again, defense can't spray you down with a phantom. Like you can't go for a choke point and just get mowed down by a pistol. So it's like better on defense to be together so that you can actually you have enough firepower to deal with
Sen won the pistol.
the opposing team's firepower, if that makes
Exact
sense.
Situation. If they hadn't, we'd be looking at a very different game. Billy were able to gain so much early momentum.
100 gifted, and you send me the playbook for Paper X Ascent. Why did you bother? Why did you bother? Bro, you send me 100 gifted, and I'll send me 100. I'll send you 100 gifted, and you try and explain it to me.
And that's an easy call now for the rest of the team to just get into the A side. Zelsa's feeling all of that pressure. Should be light on the opposite side of the map.
They are so patient about it. Here's a plant. John gets it down. Billy playing second fiddle, just trying to catch up. And now without much more than frenzy ghost.
The thing about that ascent is that it was like and here we go. Weapons are force multipliers. The weaker the weapon, the worse it is at making small numbers. Individuals have high potency. When you have pistols, you have almost no force multiplication, so you need to have real high number stacks. Hello. Yep, that makes sense. That's the technical way of saying it. Yeah. Yeah, I think the worry for you, Comet, would be that like when a team plays a map kind of how do I want to phrase this? No, I'm not gonna bother. I'm not gonna buy it. I'm not gonna bother. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna say anything.
Would allow the game to become even. Narrate would love to get something for this album.
Nah, I can't. I'm not gonna say it. You gotta prepare for that. Actually, yeah, you guys suck at Ascent, so yeah, you yeah.
3 kills with the stinger. Only Levius to survive.
Love to have gone. Very important.
It was Anders does make me happy during the chat, but I was more thinking about something funny. But I can't really say it. I was gonna make a very good point about some teams at internationals when they kind of change ideas, but I'm not gonna say it. I don't want to get clip farmed. So Billy using a lot of fucking util to do that. And now they're just going to rotate back. Sen think they have a timing to do something, but they don't. I mean, they do have the timing. They're basically like pretending to go B. This is quite nice. Instead of just immediately going this way, kind of drive-buying B to make it feel like they're B. So it's like these players who might be C are more likely to just come across here for a second. It's quite nice. I quite like that. I felt like the drive-by is quite nice there. are they quick enough to actually get to C and go through this wall? The answer is no. They cannot go through the Orban wall. So this reaction from Sen to like cancel to here and here is technically not successful. But they have got rid of util on both sides. Or they should have got util on both sides, but this wall's still up. So I don't know what they're going to do now. So now they basically wasted 40 seconds of the round doing nothing. They've done, at 50 seconds, they do not have control of rubble. They've broken a Vice Thorns, and they've not broken anything C. So right now, BLG are in a good spot.
On the clock, they have no map control at the moment.
They have, though. Look at the util on Billy's side. It's really limited. Just that smoke from Russia. There's a horn for Knight. They've drawn it all out, but at what
And then they're forced, like, instead of re-clearing A, is their next... They don't have time to re-clear A and then decide what to do. So they're just going to go A, basically.
So now with the wall down, you do have Russia with that Guardian on this A side. Just
Fade reveal from B? Quite a nice... quite a nice reveal. I would argue that it's a bit useless when we got a Vice Flash. Can't we just Vice Flash this right now? I guess it might be off cooldown. Hopefully we see some kind of movement or some kind of movement off of this.
jiggle peeking.
But instead we see no movement. So the Vice reveal was essentially pointless.
Knows what the situation is.
Okay, and they just rotate sideways. And YZ goes for it. Yeah. Okay. BLG are not very good. Okay.
early probes, and then they overheated just a little bit, losing to the SEN bonus. Not just losing to the bonus, Wyatt, but allowing it to be a good play. And now Billy, and they allowing it to be a flawless round for the attackers. That is backbreaking.
Able to take advantage of the low clock on account of just a
At least they didn't play this round very well. I'm actually like pleasantly surprised with some of the stuff BLG were doing, to be honest with you. Overall, I'm not gonna shit talk too much, but I think that round was pretty meh. Pretty meh.
See, things are pretty restrained. You mentioned it. Zelsa's looked absolutely determined to have a clean.
Can you explain the defense Viper wall? I can explain it a little bit. It's pretty simple. It's not that complicated, I don't think. We have a way to deal with attackers coming B. We have a way of dealing with attackers going true. We have a bit of cover if we're having to fall back and protect ourselves behind the wall. And we have cover if we want to play around the front of the tree and create situations of crossfires around this spot. So it does quite a lot of different things. Yeah, it's not that complicated, I don't think. Also, it does also kind of give you a pathing here sometimes, which isn't bad. And also sometimes a pathing to come re-clear A, I guess, sometimes, where you like come out and then drop the wall. But those are more like niche examples, I think.
For BLG.
It's mostly there's a choke point and the Viper was protecting the choke point. But for some reason Sentinels are using this wall and then they don't even protect the choke points. Like, because even it's kind of protecting this choke point too, because you can fight with this choke point a bit more because they can't assist. But for some reason Sentinels were basically just not using the wall. They were playing like one here, flooding in and ignoring the wall completely.
And already, Sentinels he gripped on his A side. Pretty standard. We have Zelsa's obviously watch C. He's got the Outlaw in hand to punish a push up. BLG, do they want this fight again?
So even something here, like, so, I mean, I don't know why he's pulled out a classic. Oh, why has he got a classic?
And already, pretty standard. We have Zelsa's obviously watch C.
Why does YZ have a classic?
Punish a push up.
He is forgot to buy. Saving for op. Saving for op? Surely he's not saving for the op. Surely. What? That's not acceptable, is it? I don't think that's acceptable. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so even if even with BLG kind of confirming rubble control, SEN they're being a bit cheeky, and you know they're not fighting directly for rubble, but they realize that BLG are gonna probably walk up and then probably leave someone for rubble, and so what they're doing is just using the Viper wall to go behind it and then firing squad down this player. I mean, to be honest with you, at the start of the round, if you're not hearing much noise on this part of the map and your defense, and you see this Viper wall up right now, this Omen should be well aware that this is about to be possible and should not really be. He should not be caught off guard, because what else could the attack be doing right now? We probably should know they're not here. We can't hear any noise here, so it's highly likely they're doing this play. And so Rusha, he's trying to get close with the judge, but he's not allowed to. And then his classic Raze player, who's supporting him to get to this position, is got a classic. So a bit of a, you know, people seem to think that like Masters is like where the highest level of competition is, but there's still rounds like this where I'm just so baffled. So baffled.
Yeah, unfortunately, only just sitting at the 700. Maybe right over period gone.
And they're going to use him to try. They all can't take too many risks if they think.
Bro, they're using too many big words. Inverse LSL on defense and hybridized LSL on attack. What?
Oh my goodness, guy! Eyes in the back of his head. Very timely swing there from Narrate.
Prioritizing guns or U2 and pistol? I mean, Anders is saying it's like super compo map dependent and strat dependent, which makes sense. I think that also it's kind of I think it's kind of team dependent too. I would trust Anders to have like G2 do a lot more classic util buys than other teams, because they probably have fairly well thought out strategic pistols. Whereas you will see a lot of teams just buy double sheriff almost immediately. And like the double sheriff teams are probably less likely to think about the pistol rounds as deeply. Yeah. I mean, they're 8-0 on pistols. So it's like, they probably, to give credit to Gen G, they are one of those teams that do have strategic insights too. And they've just committed to a philosophy around their pistol rounds that seems to be working for them. But if I was like with a team, if I wasn't like, if I was giving advice to a team that was like not, like I think Paper Exit would make sense to do double sheriffs with, to be honest with you. Like I think that suits their style of play. Unless Gen G are literally just sheriff gods, and it's just the fact that Gen G are sheriff gods specifically, that maybe that's the case. But I would presume that teams that rely on their firepower and like fighting together a bit more are probably going to be better with like double sheriff pistols. I remember the damage count for sheriff being high historically, but there wasn't the win rate kind of low historically for sheriffs on pistol. Like the damage per round was insanely high, but the win rate was low or something. I don't know. I could be chatting shit. You cannot reveal this information. The ops are present. I think you might have given me this information. I'd have to go check. Sorry, I missed the start of this round. CXX into a Vice Paranoia. This is usually a good luck to Sentinels, but they do have Razor, so good luck Russia. Levius has been very I don't know the stats on BLG at all, but Levius seems to have a lot of big rounds. Maybe that's just the nature of playing Vice on defense.
Everything they wanted to do in that round worked perfectly. YC is going to mix up the positioning and go towards Mound. All of Sentinels have taken rubble.
I like this. I don't love that Sen are now hard forcing 5A because now like plays like this just mean that they just know, like BLG just know exactly what's happening on the map. It is gonna test, you know, it is gonna test their kind of triangle here.
Opposite side of the map.
I remember this actually. Why does he TP there into the open?
On the opposite side of the map.
Why doesn't he just TP into the corner? I guess it's just a lapse of concentration, to be honest with you. Why is he complete control of the map? I would like to see this Viper stay here right now, I think. I think it's better to have two here. Viper stays here, joins with the Raze. If Raze gets any contacts here, he needs some help.
Kano had intentions of retreating for a while, and the Steel Garden ensures that. Billy having to go for the full retake. Second is pushed up so close.
Sees the Prowler now. They know, and they make use of that information to get rid of Zekin, but John is there to find the trade. 9-4 for the attack side now.
Okay, messy, but Sam win the trades out, I guess. Is Vice even good? Yeah, I mean, yes. An ult that stops you shooting a good gun is pretty powerful. It's not good if you force yourself into sites where shorties are amazing though. That's the rage beta. I don't think it's a rage beta. Yo-Yo asks some questions sometimes that are like very good to answer on stream. Like how to explaining this Viper wall is probably a nice question. Like it might be fairly like even this, like to me, like I think is a nice, even though it seems simple, like there are you know, I guess there's deeper questions about like which wall, what is the opportunity cost of using this wall versus other walls. It's probably important to cover too. But do you think Yoru is falling off in the current meta? I'm still a big Yoru fan. I don't think that anything has really changed for Yoru. I think that Teo Breach set up Teo to dive deep into sites in a way that he probably can't with other comps. But my response to that is like, who cares? like who cares? It's not maybe as consistent, but I still think Yoru is still a very, very high value. Like the things he can do on defense, like no other agent can do. It's a little bit disgusting. The question comes on some of the weirder maps where like Raze and Neon are like popular, whether Yoru is still good on those maps. Like even like this map, is Yoru still... I presume Yoru's lost a bit of its punch on this map. But I still think it's probably viable, probably still good. Hello, Mallet. Are you a fan of Phoenix on Pearl? I'm not a fan, no. But if you're gonna play Phoenix anywhere, I'd probably play a Sen and Pearl. Yeah.
Thorns on the ground they have to deal with. Players getting cut off by the sheer wall. You know, you can try to timing it where your Omen can TP.
Thoughts on ISO raised T1 at Bangkok? I don't like it very much. I think it's probably one of the better. If you're gonna run double duelist on maps, ISO is underrated, but yeah, I don't think it's the best. It's not the best. Haven Phoenix, nah, I'd rather not play Haven Phoenix. Yeah, no, probably not. I don't know. The problem is that Yoru exists, so like, why are you playing Phoenix? Like, we get flashes from our Yoru player.
In terms of the ult economy, look at BLG. That's still got another so
Why does Raze doesn't work on Ascent? Why does Raze doesn't work on Ascent? Raze isn't popular on Ascent because operator players like to play with the Jett or the Yoru. The presence of those with the operator is much better than the Raze, I'd say. And then some shenanigans on attack sides, basically, where it's kind of why Yoru isn't as popular as maybe it should be. Like, people like dashing in with Jett, basically.
This time, SEN have to have a plan for this. They've got to, yep, you can see, they've got to be expecting YZ to be on this line. Versus the Prowler.
What's the time, by the way? 4 o'clock. Okay. Sorry, I'm missing these rounds. So, default C for SEN, 3-1-1, standard, going back. They're not re-clearing A, they're literally just 5-man A. And they don't have, because they don't have the Yoru, they don't get rid of this Vice Wall. And then they don't also break it. They don't do anything to break it. My question is, how do you break this wall without Yoru? Number one. Is it just as simple as you just go and jump over it? Is that consistent? Or do you need to set up the breaking of the wall? Do you need to throw a smoke or an orb to break the wall? I don't know. Like, I'm thinking, like, is there really value in this orb here? Like, do we really need the orb here? Like, I'm thinking out loud a little bit. Like, I've not really thought this through, but like, I'm thinking out loud. Like, maybe there is an argument that you need to put something here to like help break the wall. Like, you can orb up and then break the wall, and then you can use the orb then to lurk through or something. I don't know. Luckily, usually you have to invest the lurk smoke from my experience. You mean like you have to omen smoke? Like you have to put a smoke on the corner of the site or something?
Wants to get back there, but completely misreading the timings that were available to SEN to scale.
It's where BLG start trolling. I mean, this is a troll. Yeah, I watched from this round actually. This is a troll angle. Can I also say that he's just full trolling too? Because why doesn't he just take the orb? Take the orb, he has ult. Hello? I'm telling you, like, this is a very bad look. Honestly, it's a bad look. He could take the orb and have an ult, and then when they come re-clear him later on, instead of... He could ult right now and win the round. Instead, he's holding an operator against a Viper wall and looks like a noob. Like, this is kind of mental. Like, I would be fuming if I was the coach. I would be fuming. So again, default C, but they're not even... I don't really understand the point of them defaulting C if they're not going to break utility, to be honest with you. So, a bit of a confusing default from SEN. SEN have got some shit to fix. So now they get away with it because the high-low setup gets destroyed. I wonder if teams should try the Chronicle Alpha high-low that they did. They did the high-low here. It's kind of interesting.
More than a small nuisance for Sen.
And there are still 2 anchors there. Out in the open, that has to be traded.
Opening the door is so big for Bang. He paves the way for a firing line of Sentinels to look at the seaside defenders. Now they've gotten in once again with a 2-player advantage. Whitey might have to entry this with a showstopper, but Zekin is waiting for him to make his way out of that B connector. And he's ready for K9 as well. Bring me another reset, and Whitey acquiesces. An easy pick up once more for the Rays. And it is a dastardly scenario. The Russian has to find a way to unravel. With this Guardian, you've got no choice but just to go for it. Sen encircling him.
No back. Hell him.
Billy have got a lot to commit into a round like this, though. Bang has already gotten pretty far forward, and Rushi has
So he gets a free kill from Bang, and then we ult nothing.
that showstopper will be avoided. Maybe a little bit quick on the trigger finger is Whitey.
Vice ult, Viper ult. Reset. We look a bit lost, but we reset with a Viper ult. That's okay. I don't know why the fuck this Vice is staying.
And you mentioned that Sentinels don't have the just inches short in all of those.
Prowler, the Viper, something like that, but it's not an option.
This is
right?
crazy.
Player control over
30
here.
seconds left.
Now Sen are going to run into this.
Wisely, does he dare jump up?
He literally
Shot through the box.
jumps up. It's like he doesn't care if he's gonna lose. It's crazy.
Rushi, though, is ready.
And this is the round they spam all their bullets.
Time it's a Guardian shot to John. QT's crazy. 12 seconds left. Sentinels have to go. Zekin getting sprayed.
Honestly, yeah, just terrible. Honestly, terrible. Like, I usually don't care about this kind of stuff because it's like it's hard to play. It's hard to really criticize stuff because it's like usually not this bad, but this is really bad.
12 seconds left. Sentinels have to go.
What is this?
Zelsus on the run. Zekin just has the shorty trying to play back sight, but the showstopper as well. He got that with the spike going down.
Zelsus is going to be jumped on in trees. Got nowhere to go. Primaries
And then the Vice ult is used, but they don't even use it. If you know what I mean?
Zekin and Zelsus back to back.
To use the Vice ult now.
And should be connecting on to both though. Zelsus on the run. Zekin just has the shorty trying to play back sight, but the showstopper as well. He got that.
And then they've technically not even used it because Zekin has his gun back.
Primaries are available again. Back to back. Zekin and Zelsus put Neff in a solo situation. Signed.
Yeah, that's rough. That's a rough way to finish the map. It looked really bad. The Vice low-key trolled.
Trees got nowhere to go. Primaries are available again. Back.
I mean, it's messy. It's messy. Sen did the Chronicle Alpha double hold and got shit on by Wolves with a Sheriff. Oh, really? Okay. Right. Right. It's coming to that time. I need to go because I'm hungry. I've not eaten anything today. It's 4 o'clock. So I'm gonna go raid someone. Is there anyone? Who should I raid, guys? Is there anyone streaming? I'm a bit too early to raid for Toronto. Maybe I should raid Mimi. Should I raid Mimi? Actually, I mean Jason's streaming. Let's just raid Jason, maybe. PRX Forsaken. Is that it? Like that? Right, I'll catch you guys in a bit. See you tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow for some more VOD reviews. Have fun watching Toronto, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Thank you all for watching. I'll catch you in a bit.